Can you guys hear the music if I do that?
At-home interactive weekly geek con, all blended with wit, sarcasm, and a pub-like atmosphere. We're adults talking about adult topics and using adult language. We laugh and make jokes about almost everything. We don't intend to upset, but some folks have their feelings hurt easily. This is all done in humor and the style of the great offenders such as George Carlin, Red Fox, Lenny Bruce, Richard Pryor, Robin Williams, Wanda Sykes, Sam Kinison, George Lopez, Lisa Lampanelli, Chris Rock, and others. So grab your vice of choice, sit back, relax, and get ready to enjoy yourself in the company of great people, hot toddies, and guests alike, because here we come.
That long day behind you, good times lie ahead. With company worth keeping, that'll bash a smile on your head. Come on in, the doors open, you'll find just the finest folks here. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and let our stories your ear. Cause we're the time. Here you're always welcome. The time. Promising beer and bad luck. The time. Music, medicine, and sun. The time. Here we come.
Hold on. Pause. Shh. Pause. Turn the mic back around towards me. I have to turn it so my co-host can hear the music. And welcome to Dog of the Tavern, Monday, August... What?
Dazzles.
Yeah, it's a moment. I'm having it.
Put your head there.
Can I just put the mic on her butt? And then here comes Otter.
Oh my god, that's a different show.
And I'll lick your thighs, baby. Welcome to Monday, August 13th.
I think you got the name Grabber Wormtongue.
Welcome to Talk of the Tavern, Monday, August 13th. Tonight's topic is sudden wilderness survival. I'm Travis, I'm your host. My vice tonight is Vienna Lager. Let's see, I think this mug, by the way, I got to show off this mug. I went to see John at Jersey Cards and Games today. And Andrea's got our pint glass, but I have our beer mug here.
Yeah.
So there we go. So we've got that going for us now. And then a big old GLC Series R Black. What about you, Andrea? What do you got tonight?
Tea in your glass, which I took.
Tea in urine glass.
No. Your pint glass. And then I have a Buck Naked Stogie vaping cigar.
Oh. Okay.
That's what it's called. It's called Buck Naked. Stogie.
Uncle Buck would be proud.
And naked.
You should see the way fit it to the door.
Tell your neighbors to stop playing video games. You need the damn bandwidth.
Password. FBI surveillance.
Are you stealing their Wi-Fi or are they stealing yours, Elizabeth?
I'm going to not be offended by the accusation that I would be stealing.
I'm sorry, are your parents stealing their Wi-Fi or are they stealing it?
No, we are on our own. It's just Smithfield. It's slow.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what's your vices tonight? Besides tie-dye, we'll call that a vice.
tea.
There you go.
Dicks.
You brought that with you, or do your parents have their own dicks that they share with you when you come over?
Well, I don't share with my parents. My dick is my own.
It's probably best.
I brought it with me. That way I continue drinking water.
It's a good choice. See, and what about you, Ed? What do you got tonight, sir?
Ginger ale and water.
He's got dicks all his own.
I'm partying, man.
Hard. Yeah.
And Ian welcomes us and said he's been watching whiskey reviews for the last hour and a half. So, Ian, did you find any gems there in your review search? And what do you have tonight? What's on your plate? What's in your bunghole? Or wallet, either one.
Hey, guys. It's your prison wallet in your bunghole. Go below the video and hit that share button to let everyone know to come here and join us for whatever the hell this is.
And I also Yeah, what she said. See, I need to make a list of reminders I need to give out to people because I'm thinking I need to. There's a share button once an hour, and also, to support your tavern, you can support us by any of the buttons below.
I need an enemies list.
We we discussed that. I said to Andrea, "Oh, if we won the lottery, who would you want to take care of?" And then I quickly corrected myself, going financially take care of, because I didn't need her to pull out this list of people to be bumped off. We prefer not to write those things down.
Conversation. Hey,
That's a good question. If you could choose, like if you could get one person and you just write their name and they would die. I know death note, whatever. But if they would die, would you do it? And who would it be?
I'm not going to discuss this on air.
That's
Thanks
correct.
for asking.
Yeah.
Me neither, man. That should have come back and bite me in the
Mm-hmm. I'll say a lot of stupid shit, but not that one.
You would actually, wow.
I tell you what, I'd sit down and give it some serious fucking thought.
Okay. Thank you.
Next topic.
$20.
So as I was saying, things below can help you support the tavern.
I
Anyhow,
think it was a skink I saw, according to Google Images.
Probably.
Your little critter.
Very well good. That's it.
Killed it.
I'm sure he was like, son of a bitch.
Mamma mia. We will not be being joined by Kevin tonight because he's a wanker. That's really all we've got on that. To update everybody on the Kevin situation. He's a wanker. Yeah. It's of course, he's told us this before and then showed up later, so we'll see. And I'm sure he's lurking and listening and
Instead of doing what he's supposed
stroking
to be
himself. He said he's doing paperwork. I think that means he wants to use the bathroom after the place is closed and nobody's there. He's surfing porn.
Oh,
He
that's
is
what
Mark.
it's supposed to be, right?
Lucky him.
It's drops
You
him.
too can surf porn.
All I have is skinks to look at.
Drops him. Andrea did say hello to you, but make sure you let us know. And Ian hasn't told us what he's drinking yet. What are you guys' vices tonight? What are you guys? Yeah.
Talk to us. We're lonely.
Talk to us like lovers do.
Oh, I know that song. It's like Elizabeth is over there, like high-fiving herself after doing this. I just saw the hand come at the camera, then I hear a slapping noise. I'm like,
Unfortunately, that song contains the line, "Here comes the rain again," and I get tired of seeing rain in the middle of summer, but damn.
yeah, we have had a little bit of bonus rain going on this year, haven't we?
Yeah.
God, it was bad last night. Or yesterday afternoon, I should say.
How bad was it?
Flooding, pretty much again.
She got horrible comedic timing, doesn't she?
You're mean? Right? Oh my God, I don't even know.
Did you have to get the arc out again?
Yeah. It's full of cats.
Less than 10 minutes.
It was... Fuck. 2 hours 51 to go. God damn it. We've already fallen to the weather. It's not a good sign.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Elizabeth, you like the how whatever was it line. And one of the ones that I always remember is, when I lived in New York, my apartment... You can't hear me?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I lived in my...
I just missed the first part.
Okay. The Elizabeth has, like, special internet tonight. like it's being delivered to her on the short bus type, yeah.
I had to keep putting quarters in.
That's right. And cranking it
Hey,
up.
Bob.
Bob! T'Challa is here.
T'Challa is here. What up, brother?
Isn't that from the Black Panther?
Yes, it is.
From the Black Panther himself. So Elizabeth, you like the line, when anybody says anything, how
Do you think
blank,
Go ahead.
how blank was it? So one of my favorite ones of those is when I lived in New York. My apartment was so small, and somebody says, "How small is it?" And even the mice were hunchbacked. And that's like the only what was it that I remember. So every time she's like, it was really bad, and you're like, how bad was it? I just want to yell, even the mice were hunchback, even though it doesn't apply. So if I suddenly yell that, you know why now.
We'll just
Now we
cut it
know.
off. It's all right.
Now we know.
I do feel like I need another light. This is very dark here.
All is well and well.
So did anybody have anything interesting go on in the past week?
I cannot believe, I'll say that, like, how hot was it? How big was it?
That's just funny.
I froze. Yes. I'm moving just fine.
No, you're not.
You might not have drank a single thing, but you are so drunk tonight.
Here you go again.
Thank you, Internet. Thanks, Sky. Oh my god.
Oh, something else I got from John at Jersey's. I now have mustache earrings.
Respect.
Mustache earring.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think everybody can see it, yeah. Oh,
He tried to get me to wear them. I'm like, my ears are gauged. They won't stay.
oh. So did anybody have anything interesting happen in the past week?
Well, Elizabeth made the comment pre-show she saw a woman's brain freeze or locked up or something like that, and I had a similar thing happen to me this weekend. Teresa and I drove up to Harper's Ferry, West Virginia.
Mountain Mama.
Harper's Ferry is a little historic place known for history-wise. Lewis and Clark started their journey west there.
Mm-hmm.
Couple
There's a
battles.
song about it, I think.
Yeah, a couple battles of the Civil War were fought there. As well, it's where John Brown's raid was. Now, John Brown was a dude in 1858. He decided he was going to steal all the guns out of the arsenal at Harper's Ferry, cause a slave rebellion, arm them all, and fuck shit up. It didn't work out well. 88 Marines showed up and they fucked his shit up. But anyway, the first person to die the night of the raid was a free black man. He saw John Brown's guys coming. He decided to warn the town. They shot him. They killed him. So there's a woman there reading the plaque, and she starts to have a fucking meltdown. This can't be. It wasn't that way. John Brown was a good guy. He was going to help black people. They wouldn't have shot a black man, and she's literally having a fucking meltdown.
Clarify her ethnic background. She's white?
Like 50s.
Damn white people.
You know, and I'm thinking to myself, she's gonna blame Trump sooner or later somewhere in this.
Go on.
And
We paused for a moment, and I said, "Well, you gotta remember things. You know, his intentions may have been just, his cause just, but he was a little not right in the head. And hey, if somebody's gonna interfere with you, it doesn't really matter what color they are. You're gonna stop them from interfering with what you're doing." She's still having this meltdown. But he was a good guy. I was like, well, if you were a family member of some of the people John Brown killed that night, you may not necessarily think he was a fucking good guy.
Two sides to every story, and the winner writes
Bob
history.
says, always the black man is shot first. That's true, Bob, so you better watch out. That 0.04%.
friendly fire. Friendly fire.
See, look.
Wanker alert. Wanker alert.
Oh, you need that as a button, wanker alert.
Because that's what he's doing while he's at work. Paperwork my ass. He's wanking. He's like, I have nobody in the building and porn. And then paper to catch the splurt.
You.
Free beer.
Free beer.
You're here.
Oh yeah, we do need to toast. I'm almost done with my beer and we haven't toasted.
What the hell?
Hey, here's to being in the middle of nowhere. We're in the middle of...
I barely know her.
I need my back scratcher now. And then I'll do the...
Oh, I interrupted the toast. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I got an itchies. Okay.
Hi, John.
Andrea asked me to scratch her with my beard because she saw a weird movie.
I did not.
Did too.
Which movie did you?
What was that? I don't know.
Everybody ready? Let's do this.
Yes, guys.
Here's to toasting before I forget what I was going to say. And John has showed up. Bob says that was the first shooting under Stand Your Ground law. Probably not. But
You are what you are.
I remember shooting people with my musket. I like to turn it sideways when I fire. Stock rotation sheets in my left hand and my cock in my right. It's 50-50 which one gets flung heavily to the side first. Can we make the cock noise for Kevin? Can we do that?
Good call.
Hold on, I gotta come down here to store items and... Where's this cock? Where's Kevin's cock? There we go.
Surprised no one hasn't made the cock sound.
We don't like Kevin getting a paper.
That would be rough.
Oh.
On the Isle of Wank.
Wanker. If he's all alone in the office, why can't he be on this while he does the paperwork?
He can. He's got his phone. He could just pull up Discord and pop in. But he's...
He could freeze frame like I am.
He's on the Isle of Wight. He can't do it. Oh, that's funny.
You're sucking up to your new boss. Well, I guess at least you have the same job. Sucking up to your boss.
It's just like being married.
Only no Kate. What?
No cape? You get a cape when you get married? That's cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
No kids. No
It's
kids.
for role playing.
See, I remember the comic strip of whatever, Superman or Justice League in the newspaper when I was a kid, and there was one point in time where like a plane was falling or something was happening, and he took his cape and stretched it out over like Lake Michigan. Like tied it off on 3 corners and was able to catch. I know, I'm like, that's a really stretchy.
That's not realistic.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Kevin's got more responsibility now. How's that working out for you?
Again.
More responsibility, same pay. Good job. Way to go. But congratulations is what I meant to say.
Bob says he's going blind at the moment. I don't know if he's talking about himself or Kevin.
Well, he probably will now after Elizabeth sucking down that dicks.
I mean,
What a place to freeze.
wow.
So wait a
Like
minute.
that joke. I'm a big mouth toad. I'm not telling you that joke on the air.
Not with your internet doing what it's doing right now. Please no.
No, I don't need to be freeze framed.
Oh, I was just waiting for it to freeze.
It becomes the new meme.
I wonder if it
What
would...
do you mean I I got fired.
But 7 new job offers. It's
Oh, that's horrible.
So,
horrible.
Kevin
It's
says,
funny,
I have a mountain of my old boss's bullshit to put in order for him before 5 tomorrow. He's
You
your
got a couple hours. Hurry up.
dude, he's your old boss. Don't do his bullshit anymore.
though. He probably has to fix it so the place keeps going.
Probably. I think there's
Some
Some
something.
people make an entrance, some people make an exit. But everybody brings joy. Some when they enter, and some when they leave.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you know, you shouldn't get that tattooed over your ass, should you?
No. See, you should have asked that before. What?
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
It's hilarious. Whatever it is. So, okay, Ed, did you have anything go on this week?
Oh, that was it.
That was it. Andrea?
Got it on. It's got it on. Yeah.
So what about you, Elizabeth? How'd your week go?
Oh, it's fabulous. I read 12 loads of laundry, I believe.
Did you fly to Virginia and bring your laundry with you?
Actually,
12 loads worth on the plane? Was that a carry-on?
I hear, yeah, be interested in my laundry, in my dirty laundry.
Well, that's what this show is for. Your dirty laundry.
Just busy taking care of things. Oh, I did see Insidious 2. Boring. I don't know why people love those movies. They're so boring. Boring.
I didn't find them all that great. They were, eh.
I would rate that one. It would drink a 6-pack of beer and at least you'll be drunk.
Oh, Kevin.
And I saw The Hitman's Bodyguard.
She did.
Did I?
Right in the middle of his one. Your tongue was
Bob
out.
wants to know, Elizabeth, if you'll sell him some of your dirty laundry.
Sure.
$20? It's $20.
Absolutely. $20 is $20.
Kevin
Oh, it's
says.
more. You get more than that. I've seen. Never mind.
Kevin says he did something interesting. Went to the site of the Pluto pipeline from World War II. Is that how Mickey and Goofy got in and out?
It is. I saw the pictures.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I thought he
I
was
like
sitting on a
that.
tree.
He also said he could manage 12 loads on a plane flight given the right kind of tissues.
Okay.
I guess we could get started with the topic now.
That's horrible.
Which part?
Kevin, don't ever let him on a plane.
I don't know if I have a choice in the matter, really. He's in a different country. So, okay, I need to get another beer. Does anybody need anything while I'm up?
Yes.
What would you
I
like?
think it's another beer.
I'll
I could use a beer.
bring everybody a beer, and then I'll even
Oh,
drink it for you
Snickers.
lazy bastards.
I would like a Snickers, please.
The Snickers. Oh, that's a good. Where'd Elizabeth go?
You said you're not getting her anything. She left.
She's
She's
like,
like,
get
fuck this
a
shit.
beer.
Well, now I've got it. Oh, she's back. Okay.
I hit the wrong button.
So I need 3 beers and a Snickers. Be right back.
Yeah.
Andrea, do you want a whole Snickers or do you want half that Snickers?
Excuse me?
Well, there's like 2 Snicker pieces in it.
No. I need the whole wrapper Snicker. Don't
Okay.
try to take my Snicker.
Well, maybe I want a Snickers too. That's why I got a 2-pack so we can share.
You got two packs.
I know, so we don't have
I
to
know
share.
what he's trying to do. Where's they? They all left.
I'm getting
They
you
left.
Snickers.
Bastard.
Just you and me, Ed. How you
Not
doing?
so bad.
Hi, Terry.
Hey, Toey. What's up?
Oh, goodness. Everybody's
I want to
the
watch.
eggs.
I wants to watch you eat chocolate.
I'm sure he does.
Would you like any worse news?
What? It's shady. That's fine. That's fine.
Okay, and I'm back.
My goodness.
So let's talk about sudden wilderness survival. So tonight is, well, no, it's survival. Didn't you hear the word survival?
Yeah, what?
So, sudden wilderness survival would be oh wait, Toey, everybody say hello to Toey.
We did.
Do a
We did.
shout out.
See?
Drops them. I believe Star Wars and DC Universe Online is going to work better considering my internet, so I'm going to try them and see if it works. So if you play either of them, the Old Republic or DCUO. Anyhow, okay, so sudden wilderness survival. The concept here being if the world, if society ended quite suddenly and you had to take off from your house and hit the road, how would that work out for you? What would you do? Do you have any? Well, just everybody. I'm just kind of going over the topic. World ends. You got to leave your house. Or, even stay in your house. Because some people would fortify their homes and never leave. So I want to discuss about that survival process overall. And, that's just a concept, at least for the next half hour till we get into our full hour This Week in History. Kevin, keep in mind you could turn Discord on your phone and just prop it up and talk with us. Bob says, I would eat lost white people. Bob, if you want to eat me, big guy, I'll get lost for you.
That's what she said. I do have one cool thing that happened within the last week, and I mentioned it before, but not on the show. I went swimming, and for the first time, maybe ever, I could breathe out of both sides. I could turn my head to both sides and breathe. And the reason why I was so excited about it was I used to have to breathe every 4 strokes because I could only breathe by turning my head to the left. And it's a lot easier to breathe every 3 strokes when you can rotate and you can really relax and go a lot faster and get your current going and sustain a lot longer. So it's very exciting for me.
So what changed? What happened?
Chiropractic and yoga. Remember I told you my shoulders started moving again? Like I broke apart all that scar tissue. It's a whole new, I can even stay underwater without fighting as much. I'm still very buoyant, but I can go farther. And it's just, things are changing for the better. So cheers to that. Cool.
So I introduced the topic, and we're just starting on that. No, it's okay. You were gone like 20 minutes. We didn't know where you were.
I was
We-
gonna say, I like to
Actually, was here the whole time.
He just froze in between frames. So Ian says, gather up the clan at the farm and go from there. Now, Ed, I know you have a definitive plan, and I have a vague plan, which includes getting together with you.
Well, as you know, many people call our place the Hill Fort. It's like, that's where we're going when the shit hits the fan. Yeah, we got food. We can cook and kill and eat shit. Or not necessarily in that order. and yeah, we do have, at the risk of sounding crazy, we do have certain spots in the National Forest I live very close to the national forest that we literally have marked on the map that we will bug out to in the event that we have to pass the bug out.
Bob says, I would watch Elizabeth swim, then eat her.
Good luck with that, big boy.
You gotta keep up.
There's a chance that Bob may be buoyant also.
Well, you know, he is part black.
That's right.
And by the way, it also only takes him 3 strokes before he can have a breath. But not with swimming.
Yeah.
Blowhole. Got it.
Before he clears the snorkel.
Oh my god. No.
This Snickers is very good. And I had the best ham and, no, it was chicken and provolone.
Excuse me.
Yes?
I burped.
Okay. So, Ed, why is Bob asking about me?
I don't know who's asking. Let's see that.
No.
Your king to join you. I don't have a king.
I gave up the job position.
Yeah, years ago. I'm king of my domain.
We all got to come in and swear fealty to Ed in hopes of getting a jar of some kind of preserves.
You gotta bring something. You gotta bring something to the table or you don't get the fucking door. Something. Skill, food.
I'll bring
ammo,
a white woman.
Okay. That's cool.
I'll be the white woman.
That's what she said.
Do you want me to go on? Or
Yeah.
Okay. For us, it started as a hobby. As we've talked about on the show before, I used to be in medieval reenactment with Travis. I also used to be in colonial reenactment for a short time.
What would you Travis?
Hmm?
Travis was king, by the way. Yeah. And we love to camp, backpack, hike in the mountains, and we like history and how they cooked back in the day, how they made soap back in the day, and whatever back in the day. So for us, it all started as a hobby, and then we thought one day, hey, what if the shit hit the fan? You know, should we start putting stuff together just in case the shit hit the fan? So we did a typical FEMA says 3 days. We prepared for 3 days, then we went for 2 weeks, and now we have 90 days worth of food on our shelves downstairs, dehydrated, canned, or whatever. And we don't just leave it there. When we go camping, we use that to recess prepared full meals for guests with canned goods off the shelf. But, you know.
There's good stuff to it.
I still haven't gotten any of that bacon jam.
I have saved some. I was going through it like nuts there for a while.
We know.
I know.
Every time on the damn show. Yeah, look, I got more, guys.
Yeah, she hasn't gotten around to making any more of that, so I have to set some of that aside.
Mm.
Bacon.
Bacon. By the way, Kevin says, depends on why I'm bugging out. In many scenarios, I'm fucked regardless due to the lack of available weaponry. But useful skills I have in abundance. And that's a fair point, because we need to differentiate, did most of the human race disappear, die, or something, and is it just you and a few others? Or are all the people still out there? But I'm just going to call it a world society collapse, at least. So.
You can make a weapon out of anything. Haven't you ever been to jail, prison? What?
I tell you what, if it came down to, like, there's not many people left, that would be a relief to me. That would be less of a survival issue than if there are people. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
See, one of the big points I like to bring in, would you be able to turn people away when they showed up, whether you
Yes.
knew them or not? Would you
Yes.
be able to go, nope, I'm sorry, you can't stay? Can you be that hard and cold?
I do that now.
That's one of the things we've talked about on the show. Teresa's just now catching up on what we did, and that's something she and I have discussed throughout the show. You know, could you do that? Could you turn them away? Would you just try to help her? Like, no, I can't help everybody. You know, I've prepared. I have seed vaults with seeds in them and so forth and so on. I've prepared. I'm sorry you didn't prepare, but I did. I have a friend that always says there's no use preparing because if somebody walks by your house and they see smoke coming out of your chimney and lights on and smoke coming from your smoker, they're just going to take your shit. Well, but I have a fighting chance and I'm going to fight to keep my shit. If I don't have nothing, I don't have a fucking fighting chance.
That's true. I think that'd be the hardest part.
Double entendre if I don't have anything.
True, true. Kevin says, 100% yes. If it's them or my family's survival is not a gamble and resources are finite. Ian says, I'd like to say, if it was the power going out like in Revolution, I and mine would do well. Yeah, if it's... See, I think my hardest part would be turning people away. And not that I'm a big softie, more so because the people I'm with, if it was my responsibility to choose who stays and who comes, there are going to be some people that disagree with who I choose cannot stay with us. And also, there would be like a one chance, one strike you're out. Like if you stole something or broke some of the rules in the initial beginning. Now, 3 years down the road, once we're settled in, it could be a little more flexible and pliable with who comes in and if rules are broken. But initially, nope, it is just... And also, it's one of those things, I don't let people go. I get rid of them. Because I don't need something coming back on me later. And that sounds very cold and heartless, but yes.
You mean you'd kill them?
Yes. I don't know if you froze or you're glaring at me. I think there you go. Okay, you're moving again. Why is it got to be one or the other?
To clarify what you said, and that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
have a problem with that.
that of course. Go ahead.
I mean, if it gets to that point, I mean, it's life. It's very real and very. It's just like with you, us, or against us. That's unfortunately we get very comfortable and in this whole discussion because we have food, because we have shelter and safety. Once you start taking these things away, it becomes very serious very quickly.
See, but if a single mother showed up with 3 kids who aren't even school age,
That's her own damn problem.
what do? That's not one I'm gonna.
Aroused.
I'm saying that's her own damn
They're
problem.
tender at that age.
I want my baby, that baby, that baby, that baby, that baby, that baby, that baby.
Again, what are you bringing to the table? What kind of fucking skills does she have? Is she a doctor?
Apparently she's got talking skills.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm not out to populate the planet again. I don't
Nope.
care about that shit. I'm just trying to survive until the end of my days as comfortable as I can.
Yep. I'm not here to fix the world. I'm here to survive. See, and that's a fair point, Ed. If she's like, no, I come from a long line of great cooks, and I can take care of the elderly, I can take care of the sick, I can take care of other children if there are any. Well, now maybe. But if it's one of those things, if she's standing at the gate shouting like trash, you need to fucking let me in, you stupid assholes. I'm like, huh. Do we put a bullet in her? Do we turn her away? And what about the kids? You can't kill their mother in front of them. That just
Why
makes
not?
them angry at you.
They did that to Bambi's mother.
But they didn't then bring him inside and make him a house pet. Unlike George from Rampage. Okay, Ian says, folks, one in past the gates, they need to have a useful...
Can't you?
What's that?
I said, what's to stop you from killing the mother in front of the children if she's that way?
Well, yeah, what I'm saying is it's psychologically damaging to the children, and they become less useful as a tool to you.
Or more easily enslaved.
That's true too. They're
This is how you got to
How old are the children?
below
They're
school age,
toddlers,
so
they're
five
teenagers.
or younger. Yeah, I assume 5, 4,
What do
3.
they do? Just shit their pants and cry?
tasty.
Kevin says, "Kill the mother, raise your progeny as servile subspecies of slaves." See, I'm not up on slavery either. I'd really want everybody to be able to do shit without being told. I don't.
People can't do that now.
I know they
What
can't.
makes you think that during a catastrophe that would?
This is why there'd be a lot of people shot outside the gate, whether it's a little gate or figurative gate, or Heaven's Gate,
Yeah.
or Watergate.
What we're talking about is it's like when people have too much to drink, the worst part of them gets exaggerated. You know, or they're hungry and homeless and cold. You know, I don't know. I hope to never know what we're capable of.
Yeah,
But you do need to keep around some people just in case food runs out. We always have pets.
that's true.
Where's you?
Just saying.
Ian says, "Depends how healthy the kids are. If they're healthy and strong, at least mom has breeding potential. I'm not worried about breeding. I figure in the first 5 years, we don't need to worry about breeding. We need to let shit settle down anyway. And matter of fact, a pregnant woman now becomes a liability to your camp. So, use the rhythm method. Pull out people. And then that's even before, something like this happens. Just pull out. You've got too many people." Kevin. "True, but I already have 3 new servants. Bitch better be damn fine." Now, I think that would be the hardest part for me, is basically condemning people to death, whether it's directly at our hands or turning them out into the wilderness. But I feel like you'd have to be very particular that first 3 to 6 months with anybody you come into contact with. Possibly longer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, before you even get to that point, are you prepared to survive? What do you have for you yourself to survive?
Let's talk about that. So, Ed, we know you got quite a bit. Andrea and I here have...
Thank you.
Yeah. If the legends are true. Andrea and I, we have camping gear. Here's my problem with camping gear. You might be able to jump in your car and drive for a day. But most people are not going to be able to go further than a day. Even if all the gas stations are still standing, can they figure out how to get that manhole cover off that locks down so people don't siphon? Can they figure out how to get a hose long enough to siphon? Because the pumps, in theory, if there was no electricity, would not be working.
I wouldn't want to be on the road at all.
Well, there is that too, but in the initial first 12 hours, it would be imperative, if we're going somewhere, to begin moving at that point.
It depends on what's happening at the time. Is it a nuclear bomb? Is it a zombie apocalypse? What's causing the problem?
I'm trying to keep it broad spectrum and not naming an enemy besides other humans.
Because, if there's certain things, maybe you won't be able to go anywhere because everything's destroyed. The roads,
There is that possibility.
what if the air is not safe to be in for long periods of time? Stuff like that.
Well, then our ass is going to die in this house, because whether we're outside or inside, it ain't going to be any better protection.
Any house, outside or inside, you're going to die.
Yeah. And, by the way, you're actually probably safer out in the open air than you are in a house, because particulates get trapped inside of a house. Outside, you have a lot more free-flowing air and less chance of catching whatever it is that's in the air.
Well, I figure if I'm going to die anyway, I'll get all the kittens, put them in a pile, and
Roll around in them.
It will hurt pussy.
See, that'd be another hard thing for me is, oh, well, I guess I got to open the doors and just let the cats go.
Most of them won't.
Oh, they would within a few hours.
They would eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. But if we can't use a vehicle, if we are going to the spot in the woods type situation, then we need to get walking because we only got 72 hours before Ed and company are gone. That's just the meeting point. From there, Ed can pick off whoever is coming up that he doesn't like so he can move to the real point without all the extra weight.
Well, I guesstimate that within, like we're talking about, infrastructure starts falling, you probably got about 72 hours to move before there is total flipping fucking chaos. So I would have 72 hours to decide, am I going to try to shelter in place here and ride it out, or find a little place
Yeah.
in the woods somewhere? And like Andrea said, it would really depend on the event. Are we talking a financial event? Because if there's a financial event and the bank's going to try to come and take my house sooner or later, I've got to move. Okay, or is it just a total collapse that it really doesn't matter whether I'm paying for my house or not? Then I'm going to stay here. So,
We did title the show as Sudden Wilderness Survival as opposed to Stay-at-Home Survival.
Right.
Because, again, that's...
But your home could become a wilderness real quick if you don't have modern luxury.
Especially where you and I live. We're already out in the middle of nowhere. And I can pretty much guarantee almost every one of my neighbors are armed. See, that's the thing. Let's say Andrea and I...
And legged.
And legged they are. Some of them are even headed. So if Andrea and I are going to head to meet up with Ed and company, and if we can't bring a vehicle, the way we have stuff, what are we going to pull our little red canvas wagons behind us full of stuff? I'm guessing that's going to be the case.
Do you have a bike?
I do.
I've talked to people about this before, and that's something they never think about is a bike.
But
You can get saddlebags and put it on your bike. You don't even have to ride the bike. The bike can become your pack mule.
that's true. It's a good point. By the way, a few comments here. Kevin says, I live on an island which presents its own bonuses and challenges. Security becomes more contained, as does protection from contagion from Cajuns. Easy ingress of hostiles, etc. But conversely, supplies are limited, and without easy resupply, movement is severely limited. Probably my most useful scenario in that case is that I can sail, or steal my dad's motorboat. Actually, that's a fair point. If you can steal a sailboat and get out on the water, in a lot of cases, if you have a source of fresh water, I don't think they have a lot of portable desalination units anymore, do they?
Probably not.
They did on the boat I stayed in.
Oh, really?
Huh.
A couple Christmases ago.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of commonplace now. It's for on their boats, not on every boat.
Right. See, I think something, if you lived on an island, that would be essential to have in your bolt bag or whatever you want to call it. That's another thing. Does everybody have their bolt bag made? Or their go bag? What's in yours, Ed?
I have 3 or 4.
Uh-huh.
The one I pulled up for the show is just one. It's actually my hiking backpack, and I pretty much keep it packed for taking a day hike. Which, in keeping it packed to take a day hike, it could be used as a go bag. And I have a little toy for Ian. I put this one here just for Ian because I know his affection for sharp objects. It's a little tomahawk.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. You can use it for chopping. You couldn't really use it for splitting anything, but you could use it for chopping and hitting zombies in the air. And then on the inside, some iodine tablets.
Some what tablets?
Iodine.
What is that?
For water.
Okay. Purifying tablets?
Purifying tablets, yeah. And Teresa has lots of them back. A couple of MRE pouches. And bacon jam.
Uh-huh.
Hand sanitizer.
Now, why hand sanitizer?
Disease.
Okay.
And of course, you got to remember this is also my backpacking pack, so it serves not backpacking, my day hiking pack, so it serves a double duty.
Welcome back, Elizabeth.
A lighter, a spoon, some stuff to put in water, to drink water, Kool-Aid type mixed shit. Some string. Everybody needs some string. See, this would be the hardest thing for me. Butt wipes.
Yeah.
Into the world and I ain't got butt wipes no more. I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do.
I know. Are you ready? Prepare yourself.
Prepare me, baby.
All right. All you do is when you like, I use yellow mustard, squirt bottles, put water in this.
That's a
And
good
then
idea.
That can be your portable douche.
It's not a bad idea.
Portable bidet.
I want to read a
Because
few.
then you can reach yours.
Go, people.
Want to read a few comments real quick. Kevin says, if I can make my dad's boat, I could be in France 4 hours later, but why the fuck would I do that? I'll take Fallout 5 for 200, please, Bob. Ian says, we're a pretty tight-knit community out at a farm with our neighbors, being mostly family and friends within a pretty solid 100 square acre area. Making it past the first 6 months to a year might be a bit hectic, but after that we'd be settled in well enough to start the thing about outsiders.
Until the beer runs out.
But Kevin, I mean, the good thing is you can get in your boat and you can run to France. And the great thing is they'll fucking surrender to you and you'll be king of France. And they'll be working for you.
That's right.
Weapons never fired.
So what else you got, Ed?
Little Garmin, Leatherman, something thingy, Bobby. And you talked about sudden wilderness survival. Garmin and Leatherman both make little tiny ones.
They do.
The size of your pinky hand. Get one and put it on your key ring.
I have one.
All the
I
time.
have three.
Yeah.
I've got multiple multi-tools on my keyring. I only have 3 keys. The rest are multi-tools. That's another thing. You know, what happens if this shit goes down when you're not at home?
I have a bag in my car all the time, and I also have my gun on me all the time.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I'm guessing. Go
I
ahead.
don't leave home without it. Teresa never leaves home without hers. We both have concealed weapons permit. If we're traveling into a state where we really can't handle it, we just put it in a box and put it in the back somewhere.
Right.
Never leave home without it. And if I'm traveling distance away from home, I have been known to throw a shotgun or a rifle or something in the car.
Nice. So, what's the most convenient holster you find for concealed carry?
Can we show firearms on Twitch?
Yes.
Without getting in trouble?
Yes.
Okay. This is my concealed carry piece. It's a Glock 19X. It's
What's
the
that?
new one that they entered in the military competition. Okay, and belt slide holster. I think this one's made by Blackhawk.
Okay, is that lower back? Is that where that one's going?
No, it fits on my side,
Oh, okay.
inside the pants. Flips inside the pants.
So, do you have to get a pants of a larger size?
No, no.
Because my fat ass don't squeeze into my pants so well.
That fits right over.
Okay,
your
so
belt.
okay, so that okay, I see what. So it's totally outside of the pants. It's not inside the waistband.
Yeah. And the holster is outside the pants.
Yeah, so you just have to have a long shirt or something.
If you shoot, you take a firearms class to learn how to shoot. More than likely, you're going to be drawing from your strong side, your right or left hip.
Right.
And if it's a good instructor, he's going to tell you from this point on, you carry your firearm from your strong side. And so that you're used to always drawing from that side. You don't have to figure out, oh, fuck, where did I put my gun this morning? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people, they like to shoulder holster, ankle holster, small on the back here, there, and everywhere. Carry your firearm in the same fucking position all the time.
Right.
So if you need it, you got it.
Muscle memory.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you have to learn to dress differently. Not this doesn't necessarily relate to the wilderness survival. Just if you're concealed carry, you have to learn how to. You can't go out there in your button-up shirt and slacks and concealed carry because it's going to show. You got to wear a jacket with it,
Gotta wear a jacket.
or an untucked shirt.
I have a lot of square bottom button-up shirts to conceal carry. Stripes become your friend. Okay, because especially they say if you're big, don't wear stripes, vertical stripes, because it makes you look bigger. But it becomes your friend because it does hide the pattern of the firearm.
Gotcha. That's why you like camo shirts. It's not because they're camo. It's because they hide more than just that. And we are just 4 minutes away from the beginning of the new hour. Guys, don't forget to go below the screen, click that share button, and subscribe, especially if you have Amazon Prime. Costs you nothing, helps us out. And I want to thank our Patreon supporters also who have been continuing on. Kevin says, Ed, I'm waving my 0.04% black multi-tool at the screen. And educate the Brit, how concealed is concealed? I.e., what is the law/guidance on a few in the trunk?
On how hidden it was. Kevin, is going to depend on the state. New York, forget about it, basically, right, Elizabeth?
Correct. That's correct.
I
actually can carry concealed on high politics.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can carry concealed, but you have to know someone in a position of power, or you are someone in a position of
You
power.
have to
For the rest
pay.
of us,
You have to pay.
Yeah.
To get your
The rest of us poor serfs don't get anything. Good luck.
Virginia is an open carry state, so you don't even have to have a concealed carry permit in the Commonwealth of Virginia to carry.
That's right.
You can open carry in Virginia. If you get your concealed carry, you can now hide your weapon. I have open carry. It's not something I tend to make a habit of. What is usually happening when I'm open carrying, I'm out and about, I have a jacket or sweater or something on, and it just gets too fucking hot. So I am now open carrying. So
It's I've
yeah, and fuck Maryland. Maryland's a communist state too.
You know, I have never seen you.
Commies aren't cool.
They're hot. I've never seen you open carry it.
Yeah.
It's
It's-
stressful
Yeah.
because
You have to watch
the
where you
lure
stand.
of it, the temptation of it for people to grab it or touch it or bug you, it's a lot. It's a lot on the carrier.
When I worked in the Mexican restaurant here in Tappahannock, probably once or twice a week, somebody would come in with an open carry. And, yeah, a lot of the other employees would be like, oh my God, did you see it? I'm like, calm down. Either A, they know what they're doing, or B, they're showing off. Either way, it doesn't make a damn difference. Bring them their burrito.
Don't mess up the order.
If you want to do anything, judge your tip by what kind of gun they have. They got a nice one. I should get a good tip.
I would be a lot happier in New York.
There you go. Ian
I would
says,
be a lot happier if I could carry in New York.
yeah.
I would be a lot happier. I would feel like I could actually protect my students if anything went wrong. And it would just lessen the stress. Me, just a touch. The many people who are mentally free.
Well, thank you, Daniel. Good to see you, man. And by the way, Ian says the benefit of open carry is it's always right there and folks tend to be less rude around you. And Kevin says being 6'8" does the same thing. And it is time for this. Here, I'll do this for you guys again. Here we go.
Can I take a break?
Yeah. Go take a break. This week in history, we talked shit about Ed till he got back.
Everything, I ran them away.
I did. I have a knack. This week in history scared him away. It's yeah. When we get back, you do. You can shave it. It's
He might like that.
See, I'm looking at the etched glass here and wondering, because it's like discolored in certain places. Like, I don't know if it's not etched as deep or the oil from my skin got on it or what.
Quit touching it. Kevin said it. He's like, shit happened, y'all.
It's when we get back, I do want to talk about if you're out, whether it's at work or at the grocery store and something happened and you can't get back home.
Oh, if I'm at work, we've got a plan.
Yeah, this, Daniel, I showed this earlier, but this is what John handed to me today. It's kind of hard to see.
Shut down a little bit. Oh, no, you're on Twitch.
Let me do this. Hold on a second.
I forgot.
Here, let's try it like this.
Ah!
No,
No, just put your hand behind it.
put my hand behind it.
Uh-huh.
Nope. It doesn't help at all. It's got to have the light coming through it. But anyhow, let me try doing like this. There we go.
Tonight on Talk of the Tavern, Travis tries to figure out how to show his mug.
If you know what I mean.
Not particularly.
That's very patriotic in Elizabeth's background there. It's got the painting of a bald eagle right there over a fireplace.
I really like the wall color with the white.
Yeah,
The white accents. I think.
Yeah, I do too. It reminds me kind of the color behind me, but it's slightly different.
Now, the one in your office is a little bit more orange.
Uh-huh, yeah.
It's a brighter red.
Then there's a skull above the window.
And that's of their enemies. The skull of their enemy. Or maybe their friend. I don't know how they roll. I haven't met her parents.
Ed's back. Hey, Ed.
Yeah.
What happened this week in history?
I'm not really sad it shit happened at all. Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate that. He's got my back. August 13th, 1952, Ellie Mae Big Mama Thornton records Hound Dog for the first time. Elvis would come along, I think, about 4 years later, and he would make a hit.
Are you an Elvis fan?
Not really.
Neither am I.
He has some songs that I
Right.
like.
Right.
I wasn't an Elvis fan.
Yeah, it's
Nobody's a bigger fan of Elvis than Lilo.
that's true. From Lilo and Stitch.
Lilo and Stitch.
It's I did yeah, the other day I had Pandora going and I have a channel that has some older rock on it and Elvis came on and it wasn't one of the 3 songs that I liked, so I'm like, skip this one. Just really not too interested.
A woman that Bob and I work with, Ann McIntyre, she's a huge Elvis fan. She knows Elvis trivia left and right. Shout out to Ann.
There you go.
My grandmother was. She had all the records. We watched all the movies. Yeah.
Kevin says Elvis, the most famous cultural appropriator ever. No, Kevin, that's the Asians taking American culture. Elvis did it first. The Elvis impersonators, the Asian.
August 14, 2003, and this kind of goes a little bit with the show. Who shut off the damn lights? 21 power plants in the U.S. Northeast and Canada went offline in less than 3 minutes, all of them. Just shut the fuck down. 50 million people were without power. The cause was a downed tree on an aging power grid in Ohio. Some power was restored in 2 hours, with most areas coming back online in the next 24 hours.
But there was some looting for that, especially around New York.
Actually, there were only like 100 arrests out of all those fucking people. There were only like 100 arrests.
Huh.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, it was pretty good. 39 years ago, in entertainment news, Apocalypse Now opened in theaters. 30 years ago, the movie Young Guns opened in theaters.
I have that. It's uh-oh. You okay, Elizabeth? Wait, she's using earphones. We gotta
She
wait.
can't hear us.
She can't hear us.
Now she can hear us.
No, she.
Nope.
So much for that. Go on, Ed.
35 years ago, Cujo opened in theaters.
Not that good of a movie.
Uh,
Didn't
I
they
like
do?
the boat.
Didn't they do a remake?
favorite movie? Which is your favorite movie, Kevin? We're moving kind of fast here.
He likes them all.
Yeah. 23 years ago, Dangerous Minds opened in theaters. I love that show by the song by Coolio in that movie. That's why I had to rank that one.
What's that say, Elizabeth? I see the cat, but I can't read the words.
Witches Creek Winery.
Oh, is that here?
No, it's in California.
Oh.
Kevin, one of your favorite movies is Apocalypse Now because he likes the smell of napalm.
Yeah, he does.
I like the smell of deodorant in the morning.
And I've said it before on the show. I think Robert Duvall lives very nearby me. I see him occasionally down in school and so on.
Should buy him on the show.
He said he
talk about whatever he wants.
pretty much.
And 30 years ago, NWA released their debut album, Straight Outta Compton.
I remember that.
I don't. I was living in Europe. I have missed all this hip hop release. I was over there listening to it. But whatever.
And
Did we mention?
go
Oh,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, speak.
We haven't got dads yet.
No. Okay.
It hasn't been an hour yet.
Yeah, we're actually going through this pretty fast.
I'm sorry, I got held up.
In current events, I have more pop news. Don't know if anybody heard this stuff this week, but I'm going to bring it up again. There may not be a fourth Star Trek movie, the fourth installment of the new movies there is. Talks broke down this week with Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth for the fourth installment of the new Star Trek series. Pine is demanding that Paramount stick to the original agreement that they said that they would pay him for the fourth movie. Paramount is basically saying they can't pay that much because, well, the last two movies sucked. The other actors in the movies are expected to follow suit and say, fuck it.
Wait a minute. They want him to work for free?
They want him to work cheaper than what they agreed to pay originally.
No. I think he's on the right of it. And frankly, if it sucked, how's the next one going to be any better? Yeah, Andrew?
Well, and that's what the studio is basically saying. We did not make the money we anticipated making off of the last two films because we didn't get a very big audience. So we can't afford to pay you this grand salary for the fourth film because we're not guaranteed to get a very big audience. Make a better fucking movie.
Just in case stuff cuts out later, I just got a severe thunderstorm alert.
Ah.
So if we cut out, guys, that's why. That's all.
Real quick before we get back into things, Daniel, I think it was you I saw that resubscribed yesterday. I think it was you. So thank you if that was you, and if it wasn't. See, I've enjoyed the new Star Trek movies. To me, they're a fun ride and they're entertaining. Elizabeth, I know your complaints with them, and I agree with you. But they're just
I like them for what they are.
Yeah, exactly. I don't have a problem with them.
I really enjoyed the hell out of the first one. I really did. I didn't think I would. I was comprehensive. You can't do Star Trek. But I enjoyed the hell out of the first one. I was a little bit like,
Yes.
okay, so are you telling me the last 40 years didn't happen now? Because...
Right.
But, yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, it was fun. It
Well,
was really fun.
I love the idea of an actual reboot where they rebooted the whole universe. Look, a timeline problem they didn't fix, so everything was exactly normal again.
Right.
And I like that they could reinvent events and this concept. And As for were the other two bad, I felt like part 3 could have just been, an extended episode. Part 2, I think where they failed, they should have never gone back to Khan. I liked it well enough, but this was the fan outcry. How dare you touch this icon? That was done perfectly, and part 2 is not that great of a movie. People, calm down. Part 2 as in the original Wrath of Khan. Yeah.
So they need to just shut the fuck up.
But apparently they didn't pay enough.
Yeah.
No.
That's why the 4th movie may not happen.
And I can't blame them for going, no, honor the contract you wrote.
Yeah.
It's all business,
And
Business
frankly, if
is
it's not that
business.
good, maybe if they're not making the money, then maybe the actors need to move on. And as Daniel
That
just
should
pointed
be
out,
put in the contract.
yeah, and Daniel
That if
just,
you suck and the movie doesn't make good money, you don't get any more. Sorry.
yeah, no, it's okay. Daniel says, I'll focus on the new series with Patrick Stewart. Let's face it, Star Trek's strength has always been the small screen. And they can do a season finale, a 2-part that is movie length, and make it better than most of the damn movies they've put out.
And come on, Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, well, that's where, he
He's
mentioned.
fucking awesome.
I'm curious to see what his role will be. I think I don't know, Patrick Stewart taking the lead again as captain or admiral, whatever they make him. I think I'm a little comprehensive about that. If they're doing it as a sort of he's passing the sword type deal.
Here's what I think would be great, Ed.
Better,
They need to make him an ambassador. They need to make him a diplomat and put him on a ship that's exploring new worlds. This way he can have a weekly role, but not be the captain. And even the captain then can come to him going,
Does
you have
anybody
it.
know what they're planning?
They're not saying. They're not saying so far.
I don't blame them.
But yeah, I think focusing on the small screen might be a smarter idea for Star Trek. And suddenly Elizabeth is in like the Blair Witch Project over there. No, you're fine. Don't change anything. It's fine. No. Keep it like it was.
I'm
You're
She
fine.
likes to
Okay.
play with lighting.
She does.
I do.
She
I
doesn't
think,
prefer glowing.
I think the problem with the new Star Trek, and I agree with Ed, I loved the first one. It was really fun, to see how these new actors kind of take on the role. It's bold, boldly bold, I guess. It was fun. The one with Khan, Benedict Cumberbatch, God, that was a mess. That was just a script mess, and it ended up being kind of boring. I think they're losing focus on it. And I just saw the Beyond one, and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And it was okay, but
They were action movies.
Right.
people, like there are action movies, people, and I think even on the show we said to each other, we're kind of getting worn out on Star Wars. I think we're kind of getting worn out on Star Trek. I think we need to take a break, step away from that genre, and try something new and give the audience a different flavor to chew on. It still have, science and this and that, but I think we're kind of worn out on it. And I think that's why people aren't going to see it. They know what's going to happen. No one's really going to die, and they're just going to do another installment.
This is why the series is better, because then you could bring in a second tier or third tier of characters, run them for 3 shows where you get a bond with them, and then kill them for effect or whatever. I will
Like
ask.
George R. R. Martin.
Yeah, exactly.
You like them? Let me kill them.
But I will ask.
Go ahead, excuse me.
No more time paradox issues. No more alternate universe coming into this one. And what's the third thing they always do? Oh, a child taking over the ship. Let's stop that forever. Go on, Elizabeth. What were you going to say?
Well, I'm an animator at heart, so if you're going to spend that kind of money, why do they all have to be human? Why can't you make it a ship of pickles or, squid or something?
Well, you need to go ahead and write that one.
Okay. And I completely forgot what I was going to bring up.
Squid pickles. Squidkles.
Pickles.
That would be awesome.
Squiggles. Kevin says
Remember,
Go ahead.
I thought, what was that one with Tim Allen? I love that one.
Galaxy Quest.
Quest.
I would love to see more of that one.
Yeah, that
Write it, and we'll make this happen.
in your garage.
Kevin says one thing I didn't
Yeah.
like about how the newer movies used actors who didn't feature in the series. It created a disjoint between movies and canon series. DS9 was horrible, says Daniel. Ed, you want to take that one?
I'm not even going to address that.
I
don't-
like the
Don't
S9.
know
Wait.
what planet he's on.
Daniel,
I'm not even going to address
Let me ask you this. Daniel, did you watch season 4 and beyond? If the answer is no, then you missed the good part of the series, because season 1, 2, and even half of season 3 was But this,
Just start with 4.
well, actually,
That's when I really got into it. Oh,
go watch the last 4 episodes of season 3, and then everything after that.
You know, it'd be fun. Okay,
Yes.
I'm not sure how to market it because I'm not a marketing genius. But as a writer, it would be really fun that you start with a crew and you just state outwardly at the beginning either everyone or half of them or most of them, whatever. But for dramatic effect, by the end of the season, everyone's going to die. Like, oh shit, or half of them will die. And then maybe even on the last couple episodes, let the audience vote.
Yeah,
or
but
who dies.
so
And just make it really good writing.
Game of
Really
Thrones
good
in space. Is that what you're saying? basically?
Game of Thrones in space.
Actually,
But I
But the
really think
viewers decide.
that's what kept me from watching Game of Thrones was knowing that, oh shit, people die. I don't want to watch that because it would hurt too much. But it is fun. It is fun. I have to admit, it's painful and awful. And
I saw the first season.
well, I think it'd be more realistic if, I mean, even if you went, we guarantee you're going to lose 2 named crew members per season. This is going to happen. Like Walking Dead, they should have had a rotation of people dying a lot sooner than they did. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I remember when, the one guy, spoilers, fuck it, Glenn, they made it seem like he died.
Mm-hmm.
People were upset. Oh my god. He didn't die.
well,
But,
spoiler.
well, not there. Maybe eventually he does. I didn't watch it.
Everybody dies. Not everyone really lives.
That's
Yeah,
right.
Ian Worf made the show for me.
Yeah,
Cleon's man. Cleon's a fucking cool. They're badass. So yeah, Worf made the show for me. Dan, I'm just ignoring you. Sorry about it.
I like Deep. I wasn't a huge fan of Deep Space Nine, but I have great respect for Quark's place.
Yes.
And I just enjoyed it. It got a little weird, and it had weird characters that were tough to like, and I appreciated that.
well, there are a few characters who were meant to be tough to like, and because of that, we liked them all that much more. Like,
Yeah.
we talked about them during the Star Trek episode. The spy assassin guy, Gareth, is that his name?
Garrett.
Yeah.
Garrick.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's this effeminate tailor that apparently is a very dangerous man.
Oh, he's awesome.
A viper, just.
Yeah.
I just watched the show the other day. Shit, we're getting way off track again here, but I just watched the show the other day.
You're welcome.
Where Cisco is, there's the Romulan guy that's supposed to be coming aboard DS9, and he's like the deciding vote on whether or not the Romulans are going to join the Federation in the fight. And Cisco just kind of drops this line to Garrick, and Garrick takes him out, man. It's like doing what Garrick does. And
Yeah.
at the end of it, Cisco's pissed off, and Garrick's like, "You told me about it because you knew I would do what needs to be done." It's like, awesome. That's good stuff.
Yeah, that's good, Run. Another one of my favorite one, as much as I bitch about them going back in time, there is one where Cisco, with his prophet thing, flashes back to the late 50s, early 60s, and he's a
he's the
sci-fi writer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And that was actually a very good episode because you're not sure if it's in his head, then at the end you're pretty sure in his head, and they refer back to it later as a historic fact and show a picture of him. And you're like, wow.
It's fun.
But yeah, it's that was just because Elizabeth in that episode, they faced a lot of the racism where if you were a woman or a black man, they couldn't show you in the group shot of the writing staff because people didn't want to read shit from a woman or a black man. They only wanted white sci-fi writers. And
That was a great episode.
yeah.
White male, so if I read.
Yes, correct. So, okay, Ed, what else happened this week, buddy?
Okay, sticking theme, the green light has been given for a live Star Wars television show.
Alive?
Yeah, I believe it's 10 episodes. They've given a green light for at least 10 episodes, maybe more, but at least one.
Live action, not alive.
Live actors.
Oh,
instead of,
yeah, okay.
Oh,
So dead ones would not be much of a show.
Instead of the cartoons like we've seen.
Star Wars by George R.R. Martin.
But
Not
the show,
live while they're doing it, guys.
Dead actors.
The show will be based on the Mandalorians and a time period following the Return of the Jedi.
Okay, nice. Well, that's also when Revelation or Rebellion is supposed to be happening. Resistance.
Resistance, yeah.
Yeah, and that's the animated one that picks up with the Rebel crew. Creep, creep, creep. Well, no, now she's just... Oh, no, she's creeping still.
This is Blair Witch Project.
This is what happened this week in history. Quick, give that woman an axe and make her run.
It's funny.
Stop, I'm just getting a
Okay.
So, how do you feel about that series there, Ed?
Curious.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to compete if Star Trek is doing things correctly, and Orville, then
There's a cat.
there's a message for you, Elizabeth, from Daniel. Read that when you get a chance. We'll let you respond to that.
I don't have the computer on because I think it's interfering with my wife.
Oh, that's a good point. Okay, Ed, what else happened?
Okay, dumbass news, and I actually laughed my ass off when I saw this past week. The Democrat National Committee learned to count. They basically did. They learned to count. 2 months, yeah. 2 months ago, the DNC voted unanimously to stop receiving donations from fossil fuel companies. Last week, I guess they figured out they was losing money out of their ass, and they reversed that decision in a 30-2 vote. I guess it took them that long to figure out, they were counting their money using Common Core math, so it took them a long time to figure out we can't do this shit. So the DNC is claiming they did not reverse their decision. Their new stance allows them to show their support for fossil fuel workers by accepting donations from the employers of those workers, but not the fossil fuel companies. I guess they're using Common Core English or something, because isn't it the same fucking thing?
That's what I was going to say. Well,
So they had less Cadillacs and less first-class flights, and they went, fuck, just cut into our cash.
that's how I feel
Damn.
about it.
So, yeah, let's start taking... Why can't we just encourage other fuel sources? It's...
We can. They just won't do it.
Well, no, they will, but it was being shut down or blocked, or, fossil fuel people have, But what I'm saying here is, yeah, you take money from everybody, folks. You're politicians. We expect that shit. So sorry, but Daniel, you might be right that there's no money in it, but there can be. If you're there in the ground floor when they build the next energy corporation that can replace fossil fuels, there will be money in it.
If you can find one that is, it's the same thing that happened with film. When they went to color film, everyone was like, yay, but movie theaters we can't afford the new projectors, we can't afford the new sound system, we can't afford, and that's what we're getting. You either can't afford to do it en masse, it isn't as energy efficient, as gas yet, or
We had the same problem when it switched over from film to digital.
yeah.
We
And
had
then
the
they
same
just
problem with theaters.
forced everyone to do it.
Yeah, and that's what has to happen to create wide scale change. You just like,
And
I'm
that's
sorry,
what
there's not an option.
people- I mean, it is important. I mean, who wouldn't want cleaner air and cleaner water and all that? But
The person who gets
it
their
is-
paychecks cut because of it.
yeah, it just isn't as efficient as gas and coal yet. It just isn't.
And it won't be until we're using it and go, fuck, it's not as efficient. How do we fix it? Shit.
Well, solar panels aren't going to be great in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
Like the wind towers, whatever you call those. Yeah, but they kill a lot of eagles and owls and all types of birds. A lot.
Well, and solar panels, not everyone can
And so
afford
is yard there.
their phone, equip their house. So,
Well-
But you know what happened is they privatized it, and now they've got guys building solar panels that are flexible.
Have you heard of
and the size
graphene?
of large bricks.
Let me tell you about graphene. Have you heard about graphene? Because
I made it in my garage.
they can literally make it a sheet of plastic, see-through plastic that you put on your damn window, and it works as solar panels.
We're getting there. I have faith in our scientists and our engineers. We're getting there.
It's the scientists and engineers I have faith in, the politicians that'll put this through and make it happen. And Daniel asks,
they won't.
I don't trust the government. I trust the government for some things, and I trust private industry for others.
correct. And
I
Dan,
don't like it when they start merging. That's very frightening.
Daniel asks, who is the they who can force that change through? I don't know if that's a rhetorical question or a sarcastic question, but I feel like it is, or it should be, because we all know who the they is. Basically, it has to come down to certain bans and deadlines put on what we're currently using, and a replacement has to be there. Then, of course, they'll push it back 2 years, 5 years, 10 years.
But there's always going to be something. I mean, like the wind farms, as Elizabeth was saying, they're finding out when these big wind turbines do kill a number of birds. I won't say a lot because I don't
And
know
they're
that anybody's ever
noisy. I forgot to add that.
statistics. But Annapolis, Maryland, I meant to bring this up on the show about a month ago. It's taken 5 years for this company to get approval to build a wind farm 15 miles off the coast of Annapolis, Maryland. Okay, they got the approval, go ahead. The city of Annapolis, Maryland, and the residents, even though this company said we would offer you dividends for free power if we can build this wind farm 15 miles off the coast, they don't want it because it will be unsightly.
It's beyond the curve of the earth.
They want
Communist.
they want the company to build it 30 miles off the coast, and they're like,
Oh,
we'll
come on.
have to go through the fucking process all over again and get the permits all over again.
Yeah.
It's just 5 years to get these.
People want all this change. People don't want to change.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. You got to be careful. Once you hit the continental shelf, it's a different world. You know?
Now is it affordable anymore?
Yeah. It's for that matter. Why don't you just put them underwater and make it an ocean current farm instead of a wind farm?
Elizabeth, you had something?
Kevin wants to say goodnight to everybody. He has to get off the
Good night, bro.
You got off lucky Kevin.
Install Discord on your
Good
phone,
night, you
Kevin.
wanker. Wanker. We love our wanker.
And our wanker loves us.
Yes, he does. He's my fellow bus wanker.
He'll lend you a hand if you know what I mean.
Wanker
Toey
boy.
says, it's all fun and games until they decide to take your property to put a wind farm on it.
Yeah, but 15 miles off the coast.
And drop some...
Wasn't there a guy in the 80s or 90s that invented like a battery that wouldn't die or would take forever to, well,
Yes.
an incredibly long time, and the car company bought it and just shelved it.
Yes, they also had cars that literally ran on water.
They did, BMW has one of those, but once again, look, can't afford it.
Mm-hmm. That's
Although
okay.
there's nothing common about everyone on the show.
Broke ass tavern. By the way, Dropsome said the gas mask company don't want yous to have to clean air.
Don't want us to have there.
Yeah. That could be. That's pretty much it. He is number 3 on our bit throwing list. Well done there, Dropsome. It's okay, Ed or Elizabeth. Who had a death?
I'll let Ed, but it's Ed's portion of the show.
I said deaths. I said deaths. Did you?
Aretha Franklin.
Oh, did she pass? I know she was in the
Yeah.
hospital. Did she?
She was
pass?
sick, and according, I didn't see the report, but my mother told me they were saying on the news that she had passed.
Wow.
And so a good friend of mine worked with her in the past a bunch of times. I'll try to get him on the show. And you know what? She was a voice. And I'll tell you, her music has really affected this white girl. And I love it. And I'm sorry she's gone. And I look forward to her performance in heaven.
There you go. Stepping back for a second. Yeah, here's to Aretha. Yeah, Aretha.
Yeah.
A little respect for you.
And she was in the Blues Brothers, Barry.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a natural woman.
I do.
Stepping back for a second, Daniel says a guy invented a washing machine that didn't need soap. It was brought up and disappeared. It's a lot of inventions have happened. Yeah, can you imagine? We'd save $15 to $30 a month, depending on your household, in laundry detergent and other things.
You could go the natural way and use vinegar. White vinegar cleans lots of things.
Then I smell like fish and chips.
Once it dries, there's no smell.
Oh.
Before I can afford laundry soap, or the stuff to make laundry soap, that's what I used.
Yeah. White vinegar and baking soda.
Oh, Daniel, you
Speaking
meant
of survival, store on fucking white vinegar and baking soda.
that's true. That's true.
I'm learning how to make it.
How do you make it?
We
Because
just
you
pulled
can't
up a
prepare things
recipe
without vinegar.
for making vinegar, and yeah, we're gonna try that sometime.
Yeah, that is something we'd miss if society as we know collapsed. Condiments would disappear.
I
And
can make ketchup.
I know how to make ketchup.
can you make mustard though? Because fuck ketchup. I'm worried about mustard.
Vinegar is really nice to have around because of its qualities, so antibacterial,
I
preservative.
use it for cleaning a lot of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even wounds, you can use it. It's amazing. So.
I'd be more worried about clothes. I think it'd take a while for us to figure out how to, and not necessarily weave or whatever like that. We'd probably figure that one out. But
I know how to do that. I know how to make cloth material.
do you?
Of course.
I don't because I don't have to, but I
Right.
know.
Okay, Travis, your chances of getting into the hill for is increasing if you bring the white on it.
I know how to make soap and all kinds of cleaning products. I know all that. That could be useful.
Like I said, I'd either be really valuable or totally useless. I have organizing
I
skills,
just-
and
I just,
uh-huh.
I just go total assassin murderer.
Would you?
Just collect things along the road.
It's yeah, but
Eat my way through the town.
I do have.
I think, okay, getting off of this weekend history a little bit and getting back on this topic, I think one thing, I know Travis personally, okay, and one thing of Travis is if he doesn't have the skill, he will work hard as a motherfucker, okay? I can tell you that, okay? He will work his fucking ass off. And I think that is something we're losing a little bit in our modern society with gadgets and machines, people don't want to do physical labor. And I think people will die just because they don't want to do physical labor.
That's possible, yeah.
It's true.
It's, I have like a jack of all trades. I have a bit of skill in a lot of different things, but I don't have any strong skill besides organizing or making. I'm good at putting people together to make things happen, but I don't know how good of a skill that is.
Being willing to swing a hammer to
Mhm.
make something, it's not going to matter for how pretty it is in a survival situation, but, just being willing to swing the hammer to build a son of a bitch,
I made all the pipe racks. I wrote books. I learned how to draw. Yeah, it's I am willing to.
Telling stories is going to be important.
So there's one time that Ed did this thing.
Okay, I'll do birthdays real quick.
Go ahead.
We'll move on. Birthdays, August 14th, 1945, actor, comedian, and one wild and crazy guy, Steve Martin.
Nice.
August 15th, 1972, the last Batman that we've seen on film, Ben Affleck.
52. Wow.
72.
Oh, 72. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I think I would make a better Batman than he portrays. He sucks. And anybody who, oh, he's so good, you're just lying.
Well, I think what happened with him,
You're drunk, and I want some of what you're having.
I think the reason people liked him is because the movie did Batman right, in that he was dark and brooding and pissy, and I think they directed him correctly. So, yeah. And also they were...
I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid I cannot concur.
Okay. It could have also been the contrast of how they failed Superman.
Yes.
And they went, oh, at least this feels like the Batman that should be around.
Superman's not supposed to be dark. Batman.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed the premise of the Warner Brother animated Batman where he found a way to kill or stop all of the other Justice League members.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the title of that. I thought that was very Batman.
That was.
I respect that one.
That was. And they brought that into play a little bit in Justice League. Where it showed, I have a way to take everybody down. Because that's what Batman does. He's the one that can do the things nobody else wants to do.
Yeah, but Ben Affleck, the whole thing with Batman, what I always really enjoyed was the split personality or the dual personality, let's say.
Okay.
Where when he was Bruce Wayne, he was Bruce Wayne, and when he was Batman, he was Batman, And that was fun because it was a nice way to maintain your identity, And I think Affleck can't act his way out of the film, and it learns it from me.
Hey, Kennedy.
He does.
Kennedy dropped in. By the way,
What's up, Kennedy?
Hey, Kennedy!
Ian says, make me the supply sergeant. Make Travis the supply sergeant. And Daniel says, I have hammer skills. Daniel, I have seen tell of the DC Universe channel, but I have not watched it. Is it free? Because then I'll watch it. Oh, something else. On Amazon Prime Day, where they have all these deals, I saw a 30 or 32 pack of DVDs of all their animated movies, and it was like $60 for all of them. I did not have $60 to get it, but yeah, I'm looking through the titles, and they're not like crap-ass titles that you've never heard of. These are the good animated movies, as well as the Green Lantern ones, which are not good. I just fall asleep during the Green Lantern ones, which is a shame because they should be good.
They should be. Green Lantern should have been an artist rather than a fighter pilot.
Well, he's always been a fighter pilot initially, with Hal Jordan.
It would have been fun. Just imagine, because it was his willpower and imagination, which fuels the ring.
Right.
So you get an artist in there, and oh my God.
See, Kennedy, I think that would be a good choice for the next Green Lantern. Skip over Hal Jordan. Let's go ahead and do Jon Stewart or even Guy Gardner. as a secondary Green Lantern in there. And
What about Andrea Latat? She'd make a good Green Lantern.
Ed, let's wrap up the birthdays, buddy.
Okay, August 16th, 1958, Madonna.
Oh, nice. I was just talking about her
And
today.
She's 60.
She's like a virgin.
Like a virgin. I have become a virgin.
And personal birthday shout-outs to my brothers Lee Baines, Chuck Snyder, and old military brother Ryan Hart. Of course, Ian is having a birthday this week. Thanks for being there, Ian, week after week after week, except for when your internet went out.
Happy birthday, Ian.
And last but not least, the most lovely Judy Donahue. Happy birthday, everybody.
Let's see here. Let me pull up mine. My internet's moving slow here, but let me see if I can't get it.
Well, I got one more.
What do you got?
Travis. Here's a shout out to Kathy Cato. Happy birthday, Kathy.
There you go.
Fuck cancer, and you can do it.
That's
And we
right.
love you, and we look forward to having you on the show again.
Okay, and today we got fellow fat boy Aaron Stevenson has a birthday. And then, let's see what else we got. I think really Ian tops the list. Phyllis Floyd has one. Ricky, who used to listen to us, and Doug. You know Phyllis Floyd? Yeah.
I do, yeah, right.
It's some of our older listeners who used to be on all the time. Ricky Shoehorn and Doug Babin. They both have birthdays this week. And also, who else do we have? Carolyn, who we haven't seen in a while. And then the guy who runs RavenCon, who got upset that
Elizabeth wasn't in RavenCon anymore.
Well, there was... Okay, so John Millington of Jersey Cards and Comics helped with the Gloucester Library one-day Comic Con. And they had an attendance of 3,000 people.
Jesus.
And Butch, who runs MarsCon, commented on the post afterwards going, it was very well run, very well organized, etc. And the gentleman who runs RavenCon commented going, yeah, that's all great, but maybe we shouldn't call it a con because this is confusing to introducing people to the, cons. And I'm like, I went to my phone and pulled up dictionary.com and went to convention, and it exactly describes what the fuck a convention is, which is a group or meeting of people over one topic or something like that. And I'm like, it exactly defines.
What?
Yeah.
See, if I didn't have to work that day, I would have been out there. Darn adulting.
You know, if you can't say anything nice,
Shut the fuck up.
shut the fuck up. She beat me to it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sounds like
You know why Pickle Lady doesn't go back to RavenCon anymore?
same reason we don't.
One time.
Now she freezes.
Every year afterwards, I've inquired about going again. Emails fun. That's what Lady implement. Every time MarsCon always is polite and lovely. RavenCon has shunned me, and I don't know what I did or what I said.
Probably nothing.
Yeah, it's I don't know. You think you
I've
would?
been invited back to RavenCon.
Yeah.
So let it be written and so let it be said.
Kennedy says, when Ed says brothers, I never know if it's good friends, black friends, military friends, or good black military friends. Just saying. The answer is
I'll explain that. If I was in the military with them, I usually say brother from the military or something along those lines. If I call you brother, that means you're welcome to the Hill Fort when shit is fan.
Now you know.
there we go. Yeah, it means all of
Here,
it, depending on the
I'm
moment.
making a blanket for the thing. There you go. How about that?
She can now knit too. It's just one of those things. I've always explained with any kind of hobby, the more people that do it in whatever form, the better. Because we're not big enough to have internal bickering. We're trying to bring new people in every way we can, whether it's steampunk, filmmaking, comic books, whatever. So stop tearing the others down because you're whatever.
just you know, I just always say something positive. Well done. You know, the more competition, it rises you up. You know, awareness. You know, great. I'm glad.
Yeah.
People are going to a library and learning. We want this.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, especially about the geeky genres, it does make them go, "Wow, this was a great 4 to 6 hour event. What? Why don't we go to an all weekend
Nelson's
one?"
there. Yeah, and that's where they find like MarsCon
Mm-hmm.
and the other cons.
So anyhow.
So yay for these library ones.
Absolutely.
Those people, that gives them here's your free sample.
Yeah.
And a lot of these library cons, you know, they're not making money off this.
No, it's a
lot of
free
people
con.
go because of the love of the genre and the love of what they do. And they've always been very generous and share. I go to the Chesapeake Library often for their Monster Con and other conventions. Look, and they're tiny and they're delightful, and the kids get so inspired. And sometimes kids show you stuff they've written. I'm talking 8-year-olds. It's
Here.
incredible.
And let me read this. The first definition of convention: a meeting or formal assembly, as of representatives or delegates, for discussion of and action on particular matters of a common concern.
Can you look up democracy?
Yes.
Because Thomas Jefferson was very adamant on the construction of a town should be such in a manner that encourages democracy, areas of gathering of people and open-minded thought.
The first definition, and there are multiple definitions, at least
I'm looking
5
for
of
one that kind of correlates with that.
governed by the people, a form of government in which the supreme power is vested in the people and exercised directly by them or by their elected agents under a free electoral system. Let's see. State of
I like the idea of people gathering for exchanging of free thought. I like that. That is really paramount. I think one of the core ideals of America that I really love.
It's by the way, a few comments here. Ian says, when you successfully pull 3,000 plus people one day event, that's pretty damn awesome. Yeah, Ian, it is. And let's see,
There's hunger there. There's something there. They should provide for that hunger.
Yeah, well, you know, MarsCon was there being represented. You know, so they'll get people out of this, and why wouldn't any other convention go? Yeah, I'll come there and help you out.
Every convention should, no
And-
matter what.
Yeah, and then I'll swipe your people, and they can pay their way into mine. You know, it's, I don't know, pettiness.
Tavern Con.
I am not organizing that shit.
We're good.
What?
It's a lot of work. People don't realize how much work it is, even for the one-day
We're gonna
library.
drink the shit out of this town.
I don't want to drink shit. That's a
I'll
different type of convention.
What the first Tavern Con, and possibly the only Tavern Con, if it ever comes to fruition, will be, is me going, hey, I'll be at this hotel on this weekend. I have one huge room. Who's coming?
Yeah,
We're gonna do panels,
All the
talks, and
Liquor Con.
liquor con. I'll drink the liquor.
Wonderful. The worldwide Wanker Con.
Okay, we got anything else for this week in history, or are we done?
No, we're done with history.
only an hour. Well, a few hours.
It's 9:46.
Let's see.
I would so go to Tavern Con. I would host Tavern. I'd help host it. I'd help run it. That'd be fun.
Yeah, I imagine a large room where we set
I'll
up
be a bartender.
a table at one end where we can have panels, a bar in there where the hotel can supply everything and charge us. I don't give a damn. And then, yeah, after we do a few panels and just kind of have a free-for-all hangout. As for vendors, I don't know if I'm worried about vendors. I'm more worried about
That's
the
what
social
the bar
aspect.
is for.
That's right.
When you have it at a Tavern Con, you have samplers, right? You bring your whiskey distilleries can come in. your beerberries,
Yeah.
some wine.
And we
And
need
then
to
there's
test all
tasting
that.
tables. Yeah, and there's tasting. And then you have to have food, right?
I was about to say we need like cracker and pretzel vendors too, so you've got something in your stomach.
God, that would be amazing.
A
That
f-
means that only you have to be 21 or older to get in.
yeah, I'm okay with that too.
That's even better.
A few comments. Kennedy says I was a minion at Cogs. It was a lot of work. Daniel says I was looking up Comic Con up here and the freaking stars want 90 to $120 for
And
pictures.
that's cheap.
And Ian says the Microcon folks run a biannual one-day convention and they don't even get better than 65 to 75 folks, but they're pretty hardcore. Kennedy points out to Daniel, that's your big names like Shatner and Stan Lee. Tobias, of course you
you know
can.
what? Stan Lee's not doing that anymore.
No, he's not. Thank goodness. His health. He doesn't know it. And Daniel mentions, "I'll bring my. It's the beer show. Yeah, that's the kind of stuff we'd want. It's,
Oh yeah, you can do your episodes
and do
samples.
an all day stream. I'll just set up a camera that
yeah.
constantly broadcasts to Twitch. So Pepperidge Farm
Pepperidge
Gold.
Farm Goldfish sponsors. Yes, Kennedy. Yes.
So
We need a salami. Hard salami. That would be just.
What's that stuff I get at Christmas? The sausages and the mustard. Oh,
Hickory Farms.
Hickory Farms. Yeah,
oh, I need that.
need them as a vendor,
Yeah.
or maybe a small local sausage and cheese person.
I was at MarsCon one time at MarsCon. A gentleman had a backpack and it was two enormous polymer clear tubes.
Uh-huh.
Huge. And one was, I think, blue and one was red, filled a liquid inside the tubes, and it was drinks.
Oh.
And then he had the serving, what do they call those, triggers or pistols in his hand. And he walked around MarsCon just filling up people's drinks.
Well,
I
there
think
you
that
go.
would be the nighttime roll I would like.
Oh,
I
see,
put little pickle heads on the end.
Owen.
Yes, the answer.
Is that Tobias? Whatever.
Yes.
Tobias, should you bring your community and blog? You should bring your community here. You should share, go below the video, hit share, tell all your community to come and check out the tavern, and then we may discuss that.
Ed, okay, so in the morning, before the drinking starts, we should have calibration, or, like you could test out different levels of powder and bullets.
Before drinking, yes.
You want to go shooting?
Yeah, like allow people to test, 357, 357 mag load. And then, do you want to try it out on a pumpkin or a watermelon? Pumpkin. That would be fabulous.
All the fruits for the salad bar.
Oh.
That's how you cut it up.
And then we could have like trick shot. We could do the most skilled shot. Yeah, that would be fabulous. We can't do it Saturday morning. Everyone would be hungover.
That'd be too loud. Oh, that's funny.
That's good. It's good stuff.
I don't even know.
No, it's quiet.
I know.
We're almost into the third hour. We did finish
Yeah, we
this
are.
week in history.
We did finish it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. Now we wait.
Elizabeth Tobias has comments for you. Would you like me to read them for you?
Okay.
He says I would give Elizabeth a fun time and asked if he could dance with you.
If you could dance with me, yeah, absolutely.
$20 is $20.
$20.
20 shots is 20 shots.
Absolutely.
I did stomp in Tobias's stream and hang out for a bit. I raided with only 4 people.
Oh,
I got mocked for it.
Wow.
It was a good
That's
time.
a bunch of shit, ain't it?
Well, he had
You
256.
got mine
I didn't show up personally, and behind him in the background, maybe that would have been different. Bullet Con, sponsored by Bullet Frontier Whiskey. That's all you, Kennedy. Let me know when that is. I will film it from afar. It's no, yeah, I think a con will probably never happen with a Talk in the Tavern. But
Oh.
yeah,
I
but
don't like people enough. I'm expecting a lot of people. I'd be like, fuck you,
well,
down.
I leave the possibility open. But like I said, I would do it ultra simple. That way, if only 8 of us show up, we have a good time anyway. But if 800 show up, we have a good time too.
Well, it's kind of like our parties.
Exactly.
Or we just make a special invite only allowed, and you have to bring a ticket. No ticket, no entry.
Golden ticket. Daniel, you have a good night, buddy. We will see you, I guess, Thursday then.
Good
Daniel.
night, Dan.
Thursday, where you guys have like 2 agents taken prisoner.
Bastards.
Dropsum says he'll show up. He's close enough.
Titty twisters, tiddlies talk.
No, that's called CPR. I don't think she was there for that.
I don't think you were. We had Richard on, and Richard mentioned somebody said to see if somebody is awake, you pinch their nipples before you give them CPR.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Oh no, I looked it up. That is not anywhere. Thank you for trying to get me arrested for abuse before I save somebody's life.
Arrested, aroused.
Okay, but you are supposed to shake them and see if they're okay. So, Annie, are you okay?
Annie, are you okay?
You're
Well, here's my thing. If they have spinal injury, hit them on the shoulders or shaking them, that's going to fuck them up.
Will you put your, like, a wet willy, maybe? That'd be okay,
No,
right?
I don't know where they've been.
Well, lick your finger before you put it in their ear, not after.
Oh.
You keep your willy to yourself.
Put my willy in your ear. What?
I love how when, even if they're unconscious, you approach them and say, "Am I allowed to touch you?" You know?
Yeah.
Like that.
Yes, you are.
I don't know. The way people sue each other now, I would be very hesitant to help someone. My first
Yeah, it makes me
inkling
not
is-
want to help anybody.
Yeah,
It
I
does.
probably would, and then get AIDS from the blood or some bullshit.
There is that possibility.
I work in the security industry, and I've worked in the security industry for 20 years. Lawsuits have become so predominant in the industry now that
How predominant are they?
well,
Even the mice are hunchback.
I'm glad you asked. They no longer, security companies now will no longer sign a contract, a number of them. I won't say no longer, because depending on what you're paying,
Understood.
they will no longer sign contracts anymore providing officers with first aid and CPR skills.
Oh.
Really?
So,
Yeah, stop.
are they encouraging you not to provide this?
I was actually surprised when I took this job. After being out of the business for 4 years, I was actually surprised. No first aid and CPR class? No, we don't do that no more. And this is why.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's how it is with in my teaching job. This company doesn't, and they don't have any prep for when things go wrong, and that's kind of what I brought up with management, and that's why they want to talk to me more and perhaps bring me to that level to prep for that. I'm stupid and I'm empathetic, and I would help someone. Probably get stabbed through the throat for doing it.
Unfortunately, that happens.
Forgot my
It
beer.
does.
Well, what was that? One of the superheroes, I think Incredibles, because Mr. Incredible saved a guy from out a window, he sued him.
Yeah.
And that's a cartoon, but it's also real life. People
I
sue.
gotta say again, if you haven't seen Incredibles 2, go see it. It's very good. Very good.
Love this man.
Yeah, it just never slows down. In the moments where there's character development and interaction, it's fabulous.
No kids.
No cats. No cats. She's also good with kids.
Okay, let me play the third hour music here as we head into the third
What
hour.
are you drinking? What are you drinking?
It's Devil's Backbone Vienna Lager.
That's kind of local.
Time for the roll call for our late night, inappropriate, slightly intoxicated, very naughty music hour. This is where the faint of heart swoon, parents put children to bed, and things heat up and get steamy. So pour another drink, strap yourself in. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Okay. Third hour.
Thanks.
Let the whatever we do commence.
Ian,
What happened?
Ian says, well, if they need a tracheotomy, you do get to stab them in the throat. I'm prepared.
This is true.
So, well, I know a lot of people who I feel now need a tracheotomy.
Just don't talk about it on the air.
Isn't that The Heat, where Sandra Bullock does that?
It
She
is.
saw it.
It is.
It's funny.
And it's one of... What, Elizabeth?
What?
I
She
think
said the tracheotomy was the heat.
in the movie The Heat with Melissa McCarthy and
Sandra Bullock.
Sandra Bullock.
Oh, yeah, that wasn't that movie.
And that was one of the scenes I went, they could have cut this. This is not essential to the story. I don't know why they have this scene just to...
Because she saw it in a video.
Yeah.
And then later in the movie, she does it.
You know, I love Melissa McCarthy on Mike and Molly. I just watched a couple episodes today. We had a lot of work being done in that. We have a whole brand new air conditioning unit.
Nice.
And fuel pumps that the guy had no idea how to install. I came downstairs. Oh, it was bad. Anyway, she was fabulous in that. I don't like it when she gets really grungy. I love her physical humor, but I
Yeah.
think she's a talent that they're not quite putting correctly into comedy. I think she's much more talented than just grunge. Got her.
I agree. It's
But $20 is $20. So.
$20, man. She's paying the bills better than I am.
And
So
apparently
here's to her.
a lot of her stuff is improv also.
Mhm.
She
Did
goes
you
off
see her
script.
on Saturday Night Live skits? And she is so funny. Like, the actors can't stop laughing. She just keeps pushing it. So, yeah. Anyway, Melissa McCarthy, if you're out there listening, contact me. I'll write you a script.
Yeah.
That's right. And then we'll act it out with you
Absolutely.
on air.
All seen in MASH.
I'll pay you $20 to come act. $20 is
That's right.
$20.
I could cover
I'll
20
be able
bucks.
to scrounge up $20.
I'd offer it to her, but then you're all going to want 20 bucks.
I got $20 right now. What do you want to do?
We have
I'll
a
have a Snickers.
We have a screech owl that, as far as I know, moved into the local area about a week or so ago. And every, 90 seconds, there's a little... all night long. A screech owl.
Oh.
Actually, Ed, you might be able to identify better. I say screech owl, but I'm not sure. It could be...
You would know if it's a screech owl. It sounds like a woman screaming bloody murder.
Is it a...
So do the goats.
Hey, there's a new...
So
Watching
you're
on my
saying
video.
an owl moved into your yard close to Andrea. I'm shocked.
It did.
An owl liking her.
What?
Let's give a quick hello to SCP on.
Spiz on?
Let's go with Spiz on. Sounds good. And they say, Will you watch my video on your stream that I uploaded a second ago? It would make me very happy. We're here to make you happy by talking to you and hanging out. We're not going to watch your video. It's not what the stream is about. But thank you for asking. Appreciate that.
I might watch it off air.
There you go. I had somebody pop in the other day go, oh, your mic is fuzzy. Here's a video to help fix it. And I flipped over to the YouTube video, and yeah, it was like an ISIS video, and I'm like, oh, jeez.
Was it really?
Yeah.
It couldn't even have been porn?
No.
The fuck?
I watched the first 2 seconds of ISIS and its buildings exploding, and I'm like, shut the tab down, go ban that person.
Did you send it to the FBI? It's not a bad idea. Maybe a local office.
It was on YouTube.
Okay.
They've got enough filters they could do that.
Hey, now, they got a lot to cover. Don't assume they know it. The local offices will appreciate anything you send their way.
Maybe I'll go look it up again.
I'm not going to open anything if I don't know you because I value my computer.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I'll
That's
do
the
it
thing
better.
that's screeching.
So, Ed, it's
Yeah.
a short 1.5 seconds. But it's like every minute and a half you hear it.
No, here's the thing. I heard that today and I looked and the cats were very interested. It's a bird. It's like taking one of bird's place.
Oh, it's not like on the porch. It's somewhere out here in the trees.
This was on the porch.
Was it? And it was an owl?
You weren't here. You were out at Jersey's.
And it was an owl? You saw one?
No, it was a bird.
Oh, okay.
But it made that noise. And I can't tell if there was a woman being murdered because it's either the ghost or a woman being murdered. Who the hell knows? Oh my god, that's so funny. Looks like he's had too much coffee. It's cute.
There's nothing wrong with hanging out, but yeah, if you're just here to basically hijack the whole stream so we watch your video, that's kind of a dick move. Don't do that. But you're welcome to hang out and have a good time with us.
I'm Catholic. Good luck, buddy.
Oh my god.
Oh, I
Hold
thought
on.
we were talking about the ISIS people. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Nah, that's not the sound.
Is that
What the hell was that?
That was an eastern screech owl. So maybe it's a barn owl or something.
So, on the subject, what would you, Ed, what would you say would be the essentials for someone to get started with their pack?
Oh, just a pack or
I don't know. What would be a good starting point? How about that? Where did you start?
food and water? Food and water. I've always planned to try and just stay in my home. So, food and water. Like I said, we have 90 days of dehydrated and or canned goods in our home. We have heirloom seeds for after the fact, plant some seeds, grow, and continue to live.
Do you have the materials needed to basically plow up your yard to plant seeds?
Yeah, I mean, it will be by hand,
Right.
but
So
yeah.
shovel and hoe.
You don't have to have a lot of land to grow a pretty good sized garden.
No, you don't. Not at all.
When I ran this program at my church, it's called Green Sanctuary, where we did a community garden, but it was like small. It was just raised, and you put a lot on a little bit of land.
hmm We have an advantage. If you live in suburbia, it gets more difficult. We have an advantage that suburbia people, urban people wouldn't have. We live out in the country. We have a well. We have an actual pump that we can put on our well cap to be able to pump the water directly out of the well.
Oh.
We don't have electricity. Yeah.
That's awesome.
In addition to that, there's a stream right across the street. I have to make nice with my neighbors and share with them in order to get water out of the stream. There's a stream across the street, and if it's just a temporary thing, we got 600 gallons of water in a hot tub right off my back deck. So, yes.
Have you looked into the straws that you can drink through that filter out the dirtiest of water?
I have. I try to live believing that I'm going to have to purify, boil, chemically purify my water. No
Right.
Yeah.
It's a great idea, though. What an incredible invention.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a permanent thing, or do you have to change a filter within the straw every so often?
You'd have to change your
You have to change
filter.
it.
Now I have a hand filter that on the little funky ones. It's a silver line filter in it. You're supposed to get over 1,000 gallons of water.
Wow.
But, yeah.
Well, there's also ways to filter water with stuff you have. Like if you are out in the forest, there's ways to do it with a filtration system of rocks and sand.
Rocks and sand, yeah. You can take
Well, for that matter, you can also
See, I know stuff.
just boil it.
Nobody said you didn't.
Go ahead, Travis.
You could boil your water with the tarp over it where it's aimed so it drips down into another container.
The condensation, yeah.
Yeah, and pull it off that way. And so there's ways to do it that aren't perfect, but better than nothing. It's just a matter of making sure we don't hit a drought. Especially
I do know how to make coffee and you know, like that.
I've been, my goal, because I have a group, I have a plan, and I'm part of a group, and my focus has been preservation of food, because when you do, you can hunt and kill, but if you can preserve it,
Preserve
that's
it, yeah.
yeah.
And that's why I see it
That's what-
started as a hobby for us, because learning to preserve food is, yeah.
And it's interesting. It's fun to learn. Yeah. Yeah. And you hunt, right?
I don't hunt anymore. I could hunt if I need to, but I don't hunt anymore. But, yeah.
See, I don't think I could do that.
I know how to skin
You
it.
get hungry enough, you can do it.
Yeah, you get hungry enough.
There's a book called 9 Meals from Murder. And the premise is you go 3 days without eating. And you're going to be a little bit, your attitude's going to change.
I'm not saying not eat, but I don't know if I could kill an animal and then eat it. But as far as
If it was killing, if your child was in danger, you would, without a thought.
maybe.
Kennedy, same thing with hunting. I caught that. Kennedy saying they were hunting. I don't fish much anymore either. I do keep a rod and fish hooks and so on hand. Yeah, I don't fish.
I can fish.
Ian also says, "Don't worry, Elizabeth. We'll come get you out of the hellhole New York City will most likely become."
What did he say? You cut out.
Ian says, "Don't worry, Elizabeth. We'll come get you out of the hellhole New York City will most likely become."
I'm just going to swim as far as I can into the ocean and then work my way down the coast.
Oh, but have you seen that water? Do you want to go in that?
Have you seen the people? I have accepted that, my friends are bugging me about that. What do I do? And maps, you should work your way down. I'm screwed. It's the DSOL, scenario up there. Yeah. It's just, you have to go hard, and it's a dice roll. And you just, the dice keep rolling. And if you're lucky, you might make it out. If not, their food or...
I think initially, the hardest part is, because I think initially when something happens, our first instinct is going to be hunker down and see what's really happening.
What's really happening?
Deny. That's our first instinct.
Well, but not really. It's. I'm sure Sun Tzu would have written something about this, but you have to figure out what is really happening before you can figure out your escape plan. If you just run like you'd be hungry for the fire.
Right.
Well,
Good point.
I think the population, it would be good population control because now I have allergies. But there's some people that are gluten-free and dairy-free and this free and that free. I see them dying first.
But when it comes to gluten-free, something like that happening might actually be good for us because it's the genetically modified seeds that are affecting people with gluten issues. People that go to Europe eat breads and so forth and so on, and they don't get sick.
I think it's the preservatives as opposed to the
See, mine is
gluten,
preservatives.
the GMOs. Yeah, I think it's
I can eat
preservatives.
bread. It's better if I make it myself.
I've learned something in prepping for this, for lack of a better term, when it comes to seeds, heirloom seed. I did not realize you could not go to the local southern states or co-op or whatever and buy seeds and then gather the seed from them the next year and plant it. They won't grow. I
Are
didn't
you
know.
talking tomatoes or cucumbers?
Anything. They won't grow.
And they're not self-pollinating. You
Right.
have to-
They're not self-pollinating. They're sterile.
It's a marketing technique.
So if you're thinking of doing something what seeds that you can grow the plant, gather the seed from, plant the next year, you need to buy specifically heirloom seeds. I never realized that before. I figured anything, if I plant it, I can grow the seed from it, I could grow it the next season.
Yeah, no, it's a marketing technique, so they can sell more every year.
Yeah.
Well, and supposedly by making them sterile, they will produce a bigger crop of fruit and so forth and so on. Who knows?
So heirloom produces both the female and the male flower,
Right.
but it needs a carrier.
Right.
And so you can do it with a little paintbrush or a Q-tip.
Exactly.
And you know how I know that? Because my next screenplay directly correlates to this. That's why I love about creating. Because you're learning, and that's what this is you're playing with the idea of what if the worst would have happened and how do we prepare. And it's fascinating. I love it, Ed. You're fabulous. You're just so fabulous.
I keep telling my wife we'd have to have honeybees too, but she's got a little issue here, so
With the bees.
yeah.
Honeybees are very friendly though, and they'll give them free to you in Virginia now. You
She
can get free
she
bees.
stepped on a yellow
Well-
nest a couple years ago and got 43.
Yeah. Is she allergic?
They don't
Is she
know. She
allergic?
has to carry a pin down because they're afraid that she may have gotten so much venom that the next time she would have an allergic reaction.
Well, that's who's gonna. I wanted to respond to Andrea's comment. The first people to go are the people that have to live with medication, that have medicated issues, people that have somewhat debilitated health issues. So
Yeah.
the elderly, the infirmed, or anyone with serious health issues, they go first. So they can supply us with supplies. Hey, I'm going to Valhalla. I don't know where everyone else is going.
Is that in Connecticut?
Or is it on Ian's farm in Pennsylvania?
I think about that, like people on high blood pressure medication or diabetes or you name it, whatever, that simple, regulated, medicated problems, all of a sudden you can't get your medicine. This is an issue.
See
This is a serious issue.
That somebody else walks up to your camp and they go, "I'm a diabetic with 1 month's supply." Do you bring them in, or you just introduced basically a problem?
Well,
Barbecue.
someone with high blood pressure, the stress will kill them probably instantly, so they're off the board.
But
Diabetics.
I want to speak on high blood pressure because, okay, my wife lost her job in February, which, of course, she lost medical in losing her job in February.
Oh, sucks.
She was on heart medication and high blood pressure medication. Okay. We got outside. We started hiking, camping, doing the things we enjoy. She is off both those medications. So
Yeah. A lot of times
they might actually survive having to actually work and
And eat healthy and exercise and
you know.
Obese people will die because their bodies can't handle not being able to ingest a certain amount of calories. I just want to make a movie with all really fat zombies.
that's the ones where you stand on the corner going, "They're coming. We better run in 2 minutes."
Yeah, but they don't stop. They don't ever stop. That's the secret. You can twist an ankle, you run out of breath, you gotta sleep, you gotta eat, you gotta pee. They never stop. Never stop.
Let's see
And then
here.
the fat starts just rotting away, and then they get a little faster. Oh, they never stop.
See, I don't have any worries about.
Wow.
It's like the Democrat Party. They never stop.
I don't have any worries about an actual zombie apocalypse. I would be more worried about the Omega Man, I Am Legend type. You know, where they're still human, they're just now super aggressive,
Infected.
etc. Yeah, I
Have you
do.
seen Rampage?
No.
We watched
What
it.
it?
We watched it last night.
Any good?
Yeah.
It's okay. It's
It brought up questions.
like what, Andrea?
You remember you're like, I had to pause the movie.
You want to explain it?
All right. Well, with the basic premise of it is they create this thing for rapid growth and rapid was it rage, you know, things that genetically modify stuff. And it got me thinking. I said, okay, with this and the rapid healing, with a gorilla, okay, I can understand the hair growth and the hair can't be cut or whatever. But what about like Supergirl? How the hell does she shave her legs? Because they can't cut her hair unless they use a chainsaw.
Her laser heat rays.
Mm-hmm. That's the comic book answer.
Want to know.
Few comments from Kennedy, referring to the other people, unless you kill them and take their meds. And then he mentions there is a Valhalla in New York, and there's a bar by that name in Hell's Kitchen, if I recall.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kennedy.
Should we go in there?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. Same as Superman shaving. How the hell does it happen? Because in Supergirl, there was an episode, and they couldn't even give her a shot or put a needle in her arm.
They did it in the comic books, or somewhere I saw it where he had a mirror.
Yeah.
And he would, and it would shave his.
Yeah. Yeah, how's that work out,
You
really?
imagine the bikini line.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh, shit.
Now I'm circumcised, so I'm good.
I didn't cut it off. I melted it off. Woof. Yeah, and then there's a question, and this is why, like, in the game on Thursdays, I'm like, we're using comic book physics, because if Superman tried to use a mirror to shave, with his heat vision to shave, he would melt the mirror. Considering he can bore straight through steel, yes.
Yeah, I wonder about these things.
Yeah, but he has super control over it.
Sure.
Imagine
That's why I say
being
comic
someone
book
that
physics.
control.
It's like the difference between I can take my hand and slam it on a box and flatten it, or I can take it and very delicately pull the smallest little, splinter from my finger, or pet a cat softly, all with this one hand, or I can rip root weeds to the ground. It's just muscle control and experience points.
Yeah.
Karma points. Karma.
Yeah, I think the hardest part would be deciding when to leave, because, when your power goes out and communications are down, you don't automatically pack up and leave. You wait.
That's true. Free rent. Woo!
Right. You wait.
Yeah. You wait. So how long do you wait before you make that move? And that's that.
I wait. I told my friends I would wait until my decision would be like, I have to decide before the first serious thing goes wrong. So, and I think that's gut, and I think it's just you got.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure what I'm saying, but you can't wait until like all of a sudden all the grocery stores and schools are closed. You have to decide before then, and you have to give yourself the room to say, I could be wrong, but this is what I'm doing, and then go.
And if FEMA is setting up a crisis center for you to go to,
Go the other way.
Away.
Yeah.
That's called controlling the population in case we gotta kill all these motherfuckers.
I'm glad we did this show because I haven't been able to take everything up with me that I wanted to take. But the one thing I am going to stock up on are MREs because, let's say nothing ever truly horrible happens. But I live in a city where, you get a snowstorm, and all of a sudden the grocery store isn't open for 3-4 days.
Right.
Most people aren't ready for that. MREs, one of them, you're good for a day.
Mm-hmm.
And you can eat it cold.
By the
You
way,
can eat it all.
I
It's not the most fabulous meal, but hey,
It's food.
you're alive.
I heard a plan. This is a real plan that's being considered. Oh, well, we have global warming going on. Well, when a volcano releases particulates into the air, it actually cools that area as it blocks out the sun. And they are actually debating a plan of coating our atmosphere with particulates to cut down on the sunlight coming in, which of course would affect crops and everything. But this is a serious plan. Now, we have seen this. Was it Terminator or Matrix where they scorched the sky so the machines...
Terminator, they scorched the sky. Yeah, was it both?
I think both. But I'm like,
that's both.
this is common in sci-fi, and it's never a good result. We don't need to blast stuff into our atmosphere to basically make it shady for... I mean, how long are you talking? Are you talking something up there for 2 days? Or are you talking 20 years?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, by the way, Ian says a few things here. Well, Kennedy said, what's the new security job Ed took? Is it a subcontract for FEMA? And Ian says, 3 days after the rioting and looting has begun, and there's no end in sight. Yep.
Yeah, that's the tough part about waiting, especially Elizabeth being in New York City. It's like, if I try to get out ahead of everybody, am I just jumping the gun
And being crazy.
And being crazy. If I stay, then things are going to get crazy, and I'm risking my life more now trying to get out in the middle of this mess.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Go away. Yeah, so... But once you know, then everything seems pretty... It doesn't matter what can you carry and what is your ability to carry. Is it what you can put on your back or your bicycle or your little red wagon, or can you get in a vehicle? And as Andrea pointed out, if you can get in a vehicle, well, how are the roads and who else is on the road?
I'm going water. I already committed. I'm going water. Because it's just, I'm talking, there's millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
There's millions, and they're all going to already have the groups figured out. They're already, all the criminals are armed, everyone, I don't stand a chance.
Right.
So I figured the best chance I have is just go where I'm stronger, I have talent for, and they don't. Water, and there's a whole lot of it.
And hope Megalodon doesn't exist.
Well, see, I see how it is when places have to be evacuated due to weather and the panic and how things get congested and no one can get through because they're all it's like everybody trying to get through this small doorway instead of, alternating, letting everybody go. That's why car bad. That's a bad idea because you'll be stuck.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a car. So that's why I decided I have to choose early. I have to get out before it gets bad. So that's it. And I have my, my get-go, my bag to get out, and then I just go.
And if
you'd be surprised how little it takes to go.
Yeah.
Just go.
Yep. Yep.
And then all of a sudden, I don't have anything.
It is kind of freeing, isn't it?
That has been in the past. I once was burgled and they stole everything, and the only underwear I had left was what I was wearing. I was like, but they didn't take my art.
They took your underwear?
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
Did they take your furniture?
No, it was more of a break into the trailer, grab as much as you can. They took all the CDs.
And your underwear?
Underwear. It was the big duffel bag, any appliances. Yeah. They left the 45 in the front seat.
Wow.
Fools.
We have. Oh, yeah.
We do.
Can anybody get MREs?
Yeah, you can buy them off Amazon now.
I didn't know that.
The thing to keep in mind with MREs is you're looking to only 7 to 10 years shelf life.
Right.
That's the thing to keep in mind there. We rotate ours. We go kayaking or whatever. We eat some MREs, then buy some more.
Yeah, like
I think it's Amazon. You can even just buy, if you don't want the complete MRE, you can just buy the main course. 24 of the main courses or something.
you can
So
also
what exactly are those? What are the MREs? I know they're meals ready to eat. I know it's military stuff, but for people that don't know, what is it?
Nasty.
Well, yeah.
Nasty food.
Like-
High fat, high calorie.
High calorie.
beefaroni.
They're designed for you to be able to function, as Elizabeth said. Just if you ate everything in one pack, the crackers, the candy, whatever it is they gave you, you're supposed to be able to function on one a day. The ones that I had in my pack are very vegetarian taco pasta,
Mm.
and you just rip it open, take the spoon, and start eating.
So how is it sealed? Does it last 10
It's
Is it
vacuum
preservatives
sealed.
or?
It's probably both vacuum sealed and preservatives. They're very.
But you
go
can
ahead.
heat it up, and they encourage you to heat it up, especially when it's cold.
Yeah.
'Cause that helps your internal temperature raise.
So it's not freeze dried food.
No.
No, it's
It's like opening a can of raviolis.
and that's
It's in a
It's
package.
not bad. It's really not. I mean, it's not phenomenal. It's like a seed, but it's not bad. I mean, you're hungry. It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
you can also buy these 5-gallon prep kits off Amazon now that come with, here's, well, basically all the essentials. And I have friends who had a whole spare room stacked with these things, and unlike Ed, they weren't rotating through them.
Yeah, you gotta rotate through them. Canned goods, that's what we can. Canned goods, you have 10 plus years from a canned good. And like I said, we dehydrated some things as well, because dehydrated food, if you dehydrate it, right, you're looking at 100 plus years.
Yeah, I was gonna say about dehydrated or freeze dried, because astronauts have freeze dried food. So
See, my thing with dehydrated is I don't.
Yeah,
I've been
that
playing
one.
around with the dehydrator.
Oh, she froze.
I dehydrate things, especially beef jerky, and I make pretty good beef jerky. But I even go beyond the expected. They say 8 hours. I even go beyond that, and I just can't trust that it's gonna last. No, I eat it immediately because I love it, but how can you tell if you've dehydrated enough?
We go on meats. We go a minimum of 12 hours.
12 hours, that's what I do.
Yeah, a minimum of 12 hours. If we're doing it for storage versus doing it to immediately take camping or something to eat, we may even go longer than that, to the point where I can snap it and do that, and it's gonna turn
It's
to
almost splintery.
turn to powder in my hands if we're doing it for storage, because
And do you vacuum pack it then?
and we vacuum pack it. What we do with a lot of things, we go ahead and take powdered cheese and noodles and rice or whatever and make the little meal and vacuum pack it in the bag. That way, all you gotta do is boil the water, pour it in the cup, and you're ready for
There you
it.
go. It's smart. It's
Ian
pretty yummy.
Ian says parts of MREs used to be freeze dried. I like munching on the fruit cocktail.
Yeah, I used to like the dehydrated beef patty because it came with cheese, man. You put the cheese on there, you had a cheeseburger, dude. And,
Hey Ed, we might have some containers you want.
okay.
It's I can show you one. I've got one right here. They're cat litter buckets. So,
I have some.
but they have the flip top. Well, you saw them when I took camping.
Yeah.
But if you need any more, let me know, because they
Okay.
stack inside each other, stack on top of each other, flip top lid.
Yeah.
Like I
I'll
said,
have some mason jars for you too when we come out again.
Oh yeah, we'll take
and wine corks. I have like a pile of
Yeah.
stuff.
We're also keeping. There are certain spaghetti jars that double as mason jars,
Okay.
and we've
that's
been
what I was talking
keeping
about.
those for you.
Okay.
Because it says mason jar on it.
She's going back there.
You live.
Is she in the spinning chair? Yes, she is.
So none of us are the type that goes, if something
Why?
horrible
What's wrong?
happens, I'm just going to kill myself and be done with it.
No, I'm just playing with the camera view. This is fun. Yeah, that's all.
I know some people that have said that in a situation where everything goes to shit, I'm just killing myself because I don't want to live through it.
No, if it gets too bad, that's an option. I'm keeping that option open because
I'm fighting to the last ounce of strength I have.
I mean, it depends on the event. I mean, I live right on the edge of that 60 miles radius outside of DC.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nuclear explosion. Okay, if my skin starts peeling off, we do have potassium iodide. I would take it right away. But yeah, if my skin starts peeling off, oh well, I ain't gonna make it through this one, no matter what I got stocked up. So, you know, I'll burn my shit so nobody else can get it and put a bullet in my head.
I agree.
that all depends on the situation. That is, say everything happens and I've lived for years, but my health is declining and I can't function properly to be, a productive member of the community. Yeah.
Well,
Fuck that shit.
I tell you what, if society collapses, one of the first rules that are coming in is euthanasia. Because I want everybody to be able to die with dignity without becoming a burden to me, and that includes me. What is Elizabeth doing? Your camera's
Squirrel
off.
is looking at you now after you said that.
Squirrel.
Is she in the bathroom?
I don't know. Maybe. She muted herself now, so maybe.
Oh no. The camera's gone.
That could be why she turned off the camera and muted herself.
Don't talk. Don't talk.
She's giggling right now. Everything's coming out in spurts now.
Oh my god, that's one thing. If the apocalypse or something, I would miss toilet paper.
Yeah. And Q-tips.
Yeah.
Q-tips. Oh. Yeah, but see, I can grow some kind. I can make Q-tip.
Ian says, I will die bathed in the blood of my attackers, even if I must initiate it myself.
And I'm sort of that way, Travis, you mentioned euthanasia coming back. Andre was talking about you get old and your health starts failing. I think I would just put my backpack on and
Walk out into the woods.
yeah, walk out into the woods. With whatever I had with me, find the little tree to prop my ass up underneath of, and
In a situation like this, I wouldn't necessarily want to take a gun because the people I'm leaving behind might need it more than me.
Yeah, just my backpack, my axe, and my knife, and
Tell people what direction you're coming in so they can come loot you later. I imagine dying by the hungry coyotes. It's like, fuck, worst decision ever. How come I didn't take a bullet? It really hurts. Damn it.
so we kind of got it.
Oh no.
She hung up.
She'll be back. There she is.
And she's back.
There you go.
See,
It disappeared.
I can just see Ian now. He's bathing in the blood of his attackers while he's eating the fruit cocktail.
Agreed. You get to choose how you leave this mortal coil.
Yeah. It's I would want a social group though, because
I would miss milk because occasionally I get heartburn, and I would And people would really miss the internet and alcohol and whatever drug.
Oh, we can make alcohol.
Travis is learning how to make beer. Teresa knows how to make wine. We got this.
And then we take either one of those and distill it down further, and we've got more. We've got
That's
hard
the
alcohol.
money. I believe that's where money will be, is alcohol.
You could be
Especially
right.
if you can do hard liquor, because now you have somewhat of a
Some moonshine.
cleaning agent. Yeah.
That's true.
Moonshine's got a lot of stuff.
That and medicinal supplies.
And stories.
See, like on Walking Dead, every time they hit a town, they're like, check the pharmacy. And I'm almost like,
Yeah.
you know, I get what you're doing, but
Well,
perhaps it's better to build your immune system and use
well,
what you...
and there's also,
Mhm.
you know, natural remedies that not all work, but there's some things you can do.
Antibiotics, penicillin. Oh, they'll be missed.
Oh, not by me. Not by the people that are allergic to it.
Just start taking garlic. You know, you can grow garlic anywhere.
Everyone says that. I eat a lot of garlic because I love it. After teaching kids, I come home and
It's
eat
like a
garlic.
harbor.
No. Only occasionally.
That's why I have
You see
heartburn.
what? It's only when people interrupt me. God, there'd be so much milk. I would miss milk and sugar.
I don't think I'd miss the internet.
Well,
People might actually start talking again.
What, Andrew?
Talking.
you can have a cow for milk or a goat.
Yeah.
The pleasure is, you know.
What about smoking? Tobacco.
The fertile woman, there's your milk supply.
Back off.
Well, just before you give them CPR, you get yourself a glass, set it aside. As for tobacco, I can go without tobacco. It is strictly a pleasure. And the same with
That would be
alcohol.
grown, too. The Indians did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what we always forget, remember when you'd read the history, and then the Indians came and burned the land, the pilgrims had to rebuild. That's what would happen. People would come and destroy whatever you were building, and you'd have to start anew.
Mm-hmm.
Well, instead of growing tobacco, you grow the pot.
Weed. Yeah. And you light the fields of fire, so they have to come to the smoke, and then they're all high. And
Then everybody's happy and they get along, you know. Problem solved.
And you shoot their fucking asses because they're coming to raid you.
You lay out munchies, and then when they go for it, pick them up.
Here's some jerky. It's the crumbly kind. It's yeah, when you at the 3-year mark, when people have their little societies built and they start to interact again, that'll be a new set of tension. You know, when you start to contact other outposts, or they start to contact you going, hey, we want to, I'd be like, I don't know.
Bread would be missed, and butter. Yeah.
We could probably make tortillas, though.
See, we could just find an Amish community. They have it all set up. It's
That's
already-
very true.
True.
And they have bread and butter.
We just find them, we call them, hey, what's up? I got her.
Google them. And they have good furniture
No. Good furniture.
No nails.
and blankets.
No buttons.
And non-electric heaters. It's like witchcraft.
You mean fire?
Yeah, they sell those, like, heaters thing.
Oh.
Have you watched that guy on YouTube? There might be one or two, I'm not sure, but there's like the primitive builders. And there's no audio. I mean, there's audio, but there's no narration. And he just builds a hut.
Yes, out of mud bricks.
Or mud, or the kiln. I learned more from that guy. I encourage any viewer to watch that, because that could really help enable you.
I'm waiting for Ian to comment on that because, yeah.
Speaking of such, I'm going to put a book and having this type of conversation with other people, people do want to know, what should I get to read? What should I have in my library? If you can get this book, if you can find it out there,
Oh yeah.
get it. It's an old Boy Scout field book. It has everything in it. Edible plants, how to build a hut, everything is in it.
It's only $4.
I know there's a newer Boy Scout field book. This is the one they had out when I was young. And it does. It has everything in it.
This is the one I'd want over the current one, because the current one is like, here's how to make a paper airplane. Here's how to make a...
Find them on.
Really? How to make a paper airplane?
That
How to
sort of...
stretch your anus.
Yeah. You know, they're like,
What
oh...
book are you reading?
It's,
It's Boy Scout. I have Firefox Girls 1 through 5 series. 6. Yeah. Good stuff. This is when we empowered our children. Yeah.
I did have a conversation with somebody one time that was talking about prepping and survivalism. And like, yeah, I save all these articles that I read on my computer all the time. You did.
Okay.
They're going to come in handy.
That would be the most regretful paperweight you've ever had. Well done, Star.
That's great.
yeah.
That's also fun to practice. That's why, Ed, when you and Teresa go camping, that's really fun. It's a nice practice. You know?
She loves, like I said, it started as a hobby, pretty much. It's cool shit, though, when you're getting stuff like that as a hobby. You know, guns, ammo, pointing objects. That's cool shit.
Is anybody
Getting
good at...
really good at making fire is a nice habit. Like make fire without matches, you know. Do it, make it hard on yourself and then figure it out. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Speaking of fire, the best fire starter most of us have in our home and we don't even realize it. Dryer lamp.
Yeah.
I make fire starters out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And cartons. The cardboard egg cartons. You
Yep.
put the lint in it and you get your little bits of wax and dump it in there. Yeah, fire starters.
Great fire starter.
Tortilla chips
Yeah, but
also
you
are
have to
good.
make a spark.
You do. You do.
Still. Oh, that was
I would know this will eat a little bit.
Actually, I had flint and steel marked on the Wish app. They're just a little metal stick with the little flint and steel at the end. And
Yeah, I got one years ago. It was the first thing I ever bought that I thought would be really cool. And it's like an elk horn with the flint, and then you just rub your steel against it, and it just
You're getting excited here.
25 years.
yeah. Other good fire starters, if you can create a spark, tortilla chips are good for it. Steel wool, your Brillo pads.
Still wool.
Powdered
Good
creamer
thought.
is very flammable.
Yeah. I just can't drink it anymore since I saw that. Oh.
Anybody
So
good
I
with...
put powdered creamer in my coffee, and then I fart, but like give me extra powerful farts when I lie down.
Don't do that indoors.
Just ask
Is anybody good with knots?
Yeah,
Yes,
I made a
a
blanket.
little.
Get that field book.
Yeah, I just added it to the cart. I'm like,
Look
Yep.
at all these knots. Aren't they pretty?
they are. It's, but yeah, rope is...
Make warm clothing.
Yeah.
You know, even if you weren't good, like, let's just say, the fact that you know how to knit, right? So that you can weave this wool thread, right? You can make clothing out of that now. Even if all you did was make really wide patches, just sew that together, and all of a sudden you have clothing.
Oh, yeah, you can make a tunic. Big toga all the time.
Ian says you can get most of the Army field manuals from Bud K as well as other survival manuals. Yeah, I think really focus on the basics. Like Ed said, food and water first and foremost. The ability to create temporary shelter. Even if that just means you're carrying a 10 by 10 plastic tarp and 20 foot of nylon cording.
Yeah.
Just enough to...
Get good at digging holes.
That's very true too, because if you don't have a house, or else even if you do have a house, you're going to have to dig a latrine and create an outhouse situation.
Well, and if you can get deep enough, you'll maintain a certain temperature, and then it won't be quite as miserable. When
That's
you
true.
have your tarp over you.
Yeah, if you're going to build temporary housing, instead of a tarp above the ground, a tarp when you have a 4-foot hole dug out is going to be better, especially in a windstorm.
Just not so good in a rainstorm.
Well, it depends how your tarp covers it. If it does,
Swimming.
you do want to dig the sides up and create a moat around it, sort of thing. You definitely don't want the ramp down into it. That's a good point. It'd definitely be a learning curve. There'd definitely be some nights where you're sitting in puddles going, I got work to do tomorrow.
Crap.
Mm-hmm.
You don't exactly have large tropical plant leaves to make that angled roof.
No. Nope. And these people that go, well, I'll make it out of branches. How long does that last? And does it keep the water out? Come on.
Well, like Ed said, you need rope. Unless you're really good at
There's
weaving the
bracelets.
branches.
You know those bracelets with
Yeah.
the cord? That's a, like,
Or
yeah, that's a really good idea.
I have a couple of those.
Me too.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't worry about bringing jewelry except for stuff like that. It's
Oh my god.
jewelry can be good there. You can use it as fishing lures.
a good point. I still don't think I'm going to pack it because I don't have a fishing pole.
Yeah. You're fishing.
My green lantern ring, because it's creativity, it'll attract the fish.
Everyone's gonna have to take out the body piercings.
Oh, I got a few of those. Tied on the end of the rope.
The big thing too is we always forget is you really have to maintain your teeth. It has to become an obsession. Flossing and just cleaning. You have to clean everything because if you can keep infection down, keep your health up, life is good.
This is another reason that tomatoes will be important. Ian says, I know poop stuff, could even reuse it in the compost pile for a fertilizer.
Yeah.
So
Have you
that's-
seen Marston?
yeah.
That's kind of a shitty movie.
Oh God, it was a couple of years ago. I think it was a Dutch company figured out how to make clean water out of your poop.
They were drunk when they came up with that idea, weren't they?
No, it really works. They really work.
I
They
don't
just-
know about that.
They couldn't do it with urine because of just the toxicity of it. Because that's
Right.
supposed to leave your body. But yeah, there's still protein and water. It's the water, it's the liquid from it that they could separate.
Oof.
Crapalicious. How's your water? Shitty.
That's just when you go, I'm alive another day. Don't ask any more. We're done talking. Shut up and drink your shit water.
I don't know.
Is that smart water? Mm-mm.
Oh, no.
It's the new formula, number 2.
Ian says jewelry and coins can be used for temp welding. See, that's one of those things I wouldn't have any with me because that's not the stuff I would initially pack because of weight. You know, bringing that extra bottle of water is going to be more important than something for temp welding. Mind you, if you're able to stay in one place, for example, Ed or Ian's place, then yeah, that stuff is absolutely viable. But if you're grabbing a couple duffels and heading out across the countryside, that's not something you're going to carry.
Bicycle's a great idea. Bicycle, especially if you actually manage to hunt something. It could really help you carry a carcass. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and you could pose it on there and take pictures of it.
With your cell phone and load it on your
Hold
computer.
on.
If you could make cigarettes and alcohol, you would be the rulers of.
Or you'd be the first person to be killed.
The golden goose, man.
It's also a matter of if you know how to, that's one thing, but how do you get the grains? How do you get the grapes?
Another thing people don't think about: tampons.
Yeah, it'd be a washcloth in your panties.
People would kill for stuff like that.
Yeah. It'd be a washcloth in your panties.
You're washing them, you're using.
Uh-huh. Well, just like, when you had the family outhouses, you each had your own little shit rag to wipe your ass with.
I also
And
they use leaves.
some of them ended up using corn cobs after eating the corn, not before. There's corn in my poop again, Ma! Did you eat the corn before you wiped your ass? No, Ma.
Oh.
Diapers, if you're stocking up diapers in general, it's a great thing to stock up on. I mean, not just
Cloth diapers.
for that cloth diapers. Yeah, cloth diapers. Thank you.
Well,
Not
see,
just for that, but
there's people that make reusable feminine
waxing and
products
canning
too.
purposes and everything. So many uses for cloth diapers.
Excuse me. Reusable? Do tell.
I actually make them and I use them for years. It's a lot cheaper. Reusable feminine products. I found out how to make them online like years ago. If you want, I can send you links or whatever.
I'm curious. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Please do.
I mean, it's the thing. What do you think they did before all this stuff? And, some people are allergic to stuff. So, yeah.
I would use, as you built a permanent place, I would definitely invest in doing the Asian style of house heating, where it's a fire pit in the middle of a room with a short cover and only like 6-inch vents all the way around, and the family lays around it for heat, as opposed to everybody in their own room and heating the whole damn house.
Oh yeah, Viking Longhouse, baby.
Yeah, which they're finally figuring out, Vikings were actually very clean people with good hygiene habits and stuff like this. It's like, yeah, they knew what they were doing, and yeah, having that kind of knowledge could be invaluable.
There's all kinds of stuff. All right, I'm going to send you this link.
Fabulous.
Yeah, and cloth diapers would help out. We've got a couple minutes. Make sure you join us for. I think we're gonna raid somebody here who has 2 viewers who's playing some music.
Well,
Awesome.
I have one more show to tell because we actually talked about guns early, but one more show and tell. If you're thinking about doing something like this and you ever wonder, well, I can only get one gun, what should it be? Make it a shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Make it a shotgun. It's going to be more versatile to you than any other one gun. If you can only get one gun, you can hunt with it, and you can hunt with it.
And when you run out of bullets, you can hit someone.
Yeah.
Well, it's also easier to make to refill those shells, even if it's with salt.
So
Or
for the ghost and stuff.
there we go. That's right.
Don't talk about that.
I watch Supernatural.
They're listening.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, I did the Dura coating on this myself.
Oh,
You
nice.
can really tell it's green. Did that myself. Oh, if you want it done, $20 is $20. I'll be glad to do it for you.
Let's do a closing toast. Here's to surviving, hopefully with people you like.
Here.
Cheers.
And we're going to do some outro music here in a moment. Guys, make sure you join us for the rest of the week, whether it's here or on Andrea La Chat for the games, or here during the afternoon hours for our silliness and what we're doing. Okay, let's do this outro music. I'll turn the microphone so you guys can hear it.
Thanks for joining us for this special show tonight. You are the one thing that makes the show what it is. Don't forget to join us at the tavern next week. Until then, have fun, keep learning, and be good to one another. Now, raise your glass in good cheer. Enjoy the small moments every day, and steamy dreams every night.
Good night, everybody. Good night, Ian.